Hey guys, welcome to the channel. As you see in the thumbnail, what if Naruto x female Deidara x Yugito Nai? Before I start, please do support for more awesome content and subscribe my channel and like this video. Go support and follow the Gold Testament for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story, link in the description. Sasuke was watching Konoha burning to the ground surrounded by the corpses of every last ninja he knew. Almost every ninja was lying dead at the feet of a man laughing as if he were more deranged than even Orochimaru. Sakura, Kiba, Ino, Niji, Tenten, Lee, Hinata, Shino, Joji, Shikamaru. Out of all the corpses of the rookie 12 surrounding him and the madman, there was only one missing from the entire group: Naruto Uzumaki. As he looked around for him, Sasuke was beginning to panic, at least hoping to find his best friend so they can fight the man who torched their home, but the more he searched the more he couldn't find him. "Naruto, where are you, Naruto?" Sasuke shouted, afraid to fight this lunatic alone. Suddenly, upon hearing his voice, the madman stopped laughing. "Naruto died a long time ago, Sasuke," spoke the murderer in a familiar yet emotionless voice. What do you mean Naruto can't die? He has to stop you and become Hokage, and how do you know my name?" Sasuke said. "Naruto died years ago, and the reason I know your name, Sasuke, well, I would just prefer to tell you the technique that ended him," the man said, and the instant he finished speaking he turned and Sasuke saw his eyes were blood red with a six-pronged shuriken pattern. "Who are you and how do you have the Mangekyou Sharingan?" asked Sasuke, now completely terrified. "Simple, Sasuke," said the man as he walked into the light, revealing his face. "I gained it from killing my best friend, and frankly it was the only thing Naruto was good for. Plus thanks to him I was able to kill Itachi with these eyes, and Orochimaru's teachings helped give me an edge." Sasuke glared at his future self, his fear replaced by rage and hatred. He activated his Sharingan in Curse Mark Stage 2 and began to charge up his Chidori. "I'll never become you, I'd rather marry Sakura than be you, and compared to you Itachi's a saint." "Chidori!" Sasuke shouted and struck his future self with a Chidori. Konoha Hospital. Sasuke awoke with a start, drenched in a cold sweat, and began looking frantically around him. Seeing he was in a white room, he realized he was in the hospital. "Seems I'm home, but what happened after I lost to Naruto? Oh no, Naruto," thought Sasuke as he began panicking. Through his panic he got out of his bed, left his room, and began to try and find out what happened to Naruto, but was stopped by an Anbu. "Sasuke Uchiha, you are forbidden from leaving this room until Lady Hokage deems you of sound body and mind, and no sooner than a week at the earliest," spoke the Anbu. "At least tell me what happened to Naruto, is he alright?" asked Sasuke, worried for his best friend. "Unfortunately no one knows Uzumaki's condition except the Hokage and refuses to reveal anything," the Anbu replied. "I bet the instant I get out of here Tsunade's going to lock me up for the rest of my life," Sasuke said. "Actually the council is trying to prevent that and they are pushing for you to be promoted to Chunin as well as the punishment of Uzumaki," replied the guard. "Punishment for what?" replied Sasuke, shocked and appalled by such a thing. "For an unprovoked attack on a fellow Konoha shinobi. Now please go back to bed and get some rest, Uchiha-sama," replied the Anbu. So Sasuke had no other choice but to go to bed, and eventually he fell asleep once more, praying that he didn't have that nightmare again. Naruto's room before Sasuke's nightmare. The Yamanaka, under orders from the council without the notice of Inoichi or the Hokage, was in Naruto's hospital room as the blonde was asleep, performing a mind walk on the unsuspecting blonde to look for anything from the Sasuke retrieval mission to get Naruto banished, stripped of his ninja rank, or executed. Seems the brat used the Kyuubi's chakra and fraud Uchiha-sama during the mission. Seems like the proof I need if the story is twisted enough in our favor, the Yamanaka thought to himself and disappeared in a Shushin council chamber during Sasuke's nightmare. "So what did you find out during the mind walk, Yamanaka?" asked Hamura, one of the two advisors to the Hokage. Hamura, one of the teammates of the late third Hokage Hiruzen Sarutobi, has always held a deep hatred for Naruto Uzumaki since he held the Kyuubi in him. Since then he has wanted nothing but the boy's death and has done everything to make sure that Naruto a very miserable life. I found out that in the Valley of the End the brat used a lot of the Kyuubi's chakra and even fought the last Uchiha. All we have to do is say that he made an unprovoked attack on Sasuke and even used the demon's chakra to try and kill Uchiha-sama," the Yamanaka replied. Hamura then smirked. "Good, then that means we can truly punish the brat. All we have to do is discuss this with the rest of the council without Tsunade knowing, and then we tell her the punishment for the demon," the old man replied. Sasuke woke up from having that nightmare again about Konoha in flames and all of his friends killed by him. He was wondering if these nightmares were ever going to end when he heard the door to his room open. He would probably be happy that someone from the Rookie 12 would visit him, just as long as it wasn't Sakura, just so he could get any information on Naruto. Unfortunately, his prayers of a non-Sakura visitor were unanswered as the pink-haired banshee was standing there with a bento obviously made by her, but maybe he could get the info he wants out of her. "Hey Sasuke-kun, how are you feeling?" Sakura asked as she walked over to his bedside. "I'm feeling okay Sakura, just really tired from a reoccurring nightmare I've been having," Sasuke replied. "Hey Sakura, do you know how Naruto's doing?" Sasuke asked, really wanting to get the information he wanted. "Who cares how that loser is, he'd be better off dying in his hospital bed, and if he is alive, he'll lose everything he has for hurting you," Sakura said without thinking. "Sakura, Naruto's our teammate, yet you're treating him like shit, why?" Sasuke said, highly irritated. "Naruto's a loser who has no right to live, and he always gets in the way of us, not to mention everyone hates him. Plus I heard he's a monster," stated the know-it-all banshee. Monster, you don't even know what happened at the Valley of the End, no one does except me and Naruto, so why don't you or anyone else? Just ask me what happened and I'll tell you, even though it's a story I'm not proud of," Sasuke said after calming down from showing his rage. Well, what did happen there Sasuke-kun?" Sakura asked, scared of her beloved. "Well, when Naruto finally caught up with me, I was standing on my ancestor's head while Naruto was standing on the first's head. Naruto was trying to talk me into coming back, how I was hurting you, but I didn't care in the least, all I wanted was power to kill Itachi. It was then I turned and showed Naruto that half the curse mark covered my face and my eye was black with a yellow iris. I kept provoking him until he was literally trying to knock some sense into me and I wanted him to fight me. Until I charged at Naruto with a Chidori and he defended with a Rasengan, wouldn't fight me seriously, at least he didn't until after I shoved a Chidori into his chest." At that Sakura gasped, "Yeah Sakura, I did try to kill Naruto. And the things that sickened me to the core were that I enjoyed thrusting my Chidori, plus I was killing him to gain power because he is, or probably after that was, my best friend," Sasuke said, telling most of the story. "You unbelievable, you actually tried to kill him Sasuke-kun, what happened next?" Sakura asked, incredibly curious. "Well, when I still had my hand in his chest, the same red chakra you saw him use against Neji and the same chakra I saw him use against Gaara flared around him, only I saw him grow claws and fangs and his eyes turned red with slitted pupils. He grabbed me by the wrist and pushed me away and our fight began anew, but this time he had the upper hand because somehow he was faster, even though I had been using the curse mark since before I struck him with my Chidori and not even my Sharingan could keep up with him until it gained the final Tomo. After that I was able to block and counter every one of his blows, but then the red chakra was bubbling out of his stomach, it lifted him up and he punched me in the face, putting some distance between us, and the chakra was forming a kind of cloak around him in the shape of a fox, making him even more powerful." Sakura was even more shocked from that information. "After getting a good thrashing, I was taking the curse mark's power to the second stage, turning my skin dark, giving me claws and fangs, longer lighter hair, and black eyes around my Sharingan. After Naruto began another attack, a hand-like wing grew from my back protecting me and threw Naruto into the first Hokage's ankle, then we powered up our best jutsu and jumped toward each other. Right as our attacks were about to hit, Naruto held back a lot of his power so I wouldn't be hurt and only lessened the damage from my Chidori. After that he thought I was unconscious and picked me up and started carrying me to Konoha, but he was far too injured and suffering from extreme chakra exhaustion and began losing consciousness until Kakashi came and caught him, then he carried us both home." Sasuke finished. "Then that means the Baka's as much a monster as Gaara," the banshee howled, irritating Sasuke. "Sakura, I'm going to tell you a huge secret I heard from Itachi about Naruto," Sasuke said. "What secret?" "Well, how the academy said that the fourth died killing the Kyuubi. Well, I always thought it was fishy that the fourth Hokage, despite being a genius, could kill a Bijua being made entirely out of chakra, so when I talked to Itachi and my mother about my suspicion, they were shocked and I could actually see worry and fear in my brother's eyes," Sasuke said. "What's this got to do with that monster of a Baka?" Sakura asked, angering Sasuke more. "Itachi told me that the academy lied to us and in reality the fourth Hokage didn't kill the Kyuubi, but sealed it in an infant that was born that very night, and remember when Iruka told us all Naruto's birthday is October 10th? Sasuke said, hoping Sakura actually had a brain. "Wait, you mean Naruto has the Kyuubi sealed in him, so this has to be why all the adults hate him?" Sakura said as she came to a revelation. "Yeah, at the time I didn't believe him, but during the fight with Naruto, I saw a burning red silhouette of the Kyuubi when the red chakra was flowing around Naruto, and the fox cloak made of the chakra proved it. Naruto's been protecting us from the most powerful demon in existence," Sasuke said, feeling sorry for his best friend. "But if that's the case, then why keep it secret from the younger generation?" asked Sakura, surprised by everything. "Mom then told me that all the adults who knew wanted to kill Naruto to end the Kyuubi, so the third made a law to keep our generation from knowing under penalty of the Big Mouth's death in order to try and give Naruto a normal life, but from what Itachi then told me that plan backfired," The last semi-loyal Uchiha said. What do you mean, Sasuke? Sakura Itachi told me that Naruto had to be protected by Anbu constantly because the villagers and many shinobi would attack him. He's had many assassination attempts on his life and beating throughout his entire life, especially the attempt I made. The sad Uchiha replied. But if that's true, then why does he always smile? The crybaby of Team 7 asked. My guess is it's just a mask to distract everyone from his pain, loneliness, and burden. In fact, I bet that a lot of our academy teachers were holding back his education out of hate for the Kyuubi in order to better kill Naruto. Sakura, the instant Naruto and I are out of the hospital, I'm going to try to be a better teammate, best friend, and brother to Naruto. Sasuke said, resolve burning in his eyes. As will I, Sasuke-kun. We'll both make sure Naruto is never lonely again. It's the promise of a lifetime. Sakura said with the same resolve as Sasuke. Naruto's mindscape after the mind walk. Naruto was walking through the sewer that is his mind until he got to the cage holding the powerful Kyuubi no Kitsune. When he got there though, what he saw was not the big scary nine-tailed fox, but a beautiful girl who looked to be 16 with flaming red hair, red eyes with fox-like slits, 9 fox-like tails, and wearing a beautiful fire-red kimono. This woman is the Kyuubi no Kitsune, and other than the Hokage, she's been helping Naruto since he could walk and talk. Hello, Naruto. Kyuubi said, anger clear in her voice. Hey Kyu, how are you? Naruto asked, fear in his voice from recognizing Kyuubi's tone. You baka, do you know how much damage your body took from that spoiled brat, and even after beating him did you rest so I could fully heal you properly? Hell no you didn't, you just kept pushing your body until it finally shut down on you, where you both would have died from the fall had Haddock not saved you. Kyuubi screamed at Naruto, worried about him and begging him to stop after the fight. Sorry Kyu, I didn't want to give Orochimaru any opportunity to get the Sharingan. If I had, Konoha would fall easily with all the jutsu Orochimaru could then master with the copy abilities of the Sharingan. Naruto replied. True, but you could have waited at least 5 minutes for me to heal you a good bit so you could meet Kakashi without passing out. Kyuubi replied, trying to give Naruto another option he could have had. Kyuubi, before I was conscious enough to be in my mindscape, I felt a chakra enter and exit my mind without coming through here. Naruto said. Must have been a Yamanaka working for the council to try and get you executed. Kyuubi replied. Yeah, I thought so too, but it will take a while for them to twist around the story, and the Yamanaka who did it can't falsify the memories in Inoichi's presence, or those fake memories would be revealed. Plus I doubt the council's dumb enough to do that. Naruto said, agreeing with Kyuubi. For now it's best you wake up since people are worried about you, especially that purple-haired Anbu in the cat mask. The vixen said to ease Naruto's thoughts. Yeah, you're right Kyuubi, I do need to wake up, although I didn't expect Yugao to be one of the Anbu guarding me. Naruto replied as he started to disappear from his mindscape. Naruto's hospital room. The instant he left his mindscape, he woke up to see Tsunade, the Jounin senseis, and most of the rookie 12 except Sakura and Sasuke surrounding his hospital bed. All of them looked excited that he's awake, but just before Tsunade could kill him and a hug, Jiraiya blocked her. Glad to see you're finally up, Naruto. The Toad Sage said, smiling down at his third student. Glad to be up, sensei. Naruto replied, smiling up at the sage who trained him more than Kakashi did. Upon Naruto's reply to Jiraiya, Kakashi lowered his head in shame that Naruto acknowledged Jiraiya as a sensei. Naruto, what are you talking about? That's Jiraiya, one of the 3 Sennin, not Kakashi. Ino Yamanaka spoke out. Actually, young lady, in a way I am one of Naruto's sensei. Jiraiya replied, confusing a lot of the Genin and Jounin. Jiraiya taught me during the last month of the Chunin exams and again when we were searching for Tsunade Bachan. Naruto replied, surprising them. Kakashi, you are very youthful to lose your own student to one of the legendary Sennin. Yelled Might Guy. Well Guy sensei, Kakashi sensei didn't teach me anything other than tree walking and the importance of teamwork, which unlike Sakura and Sasuke, I took to heart. Well Jiraiya sensei taught me water walking, summoning, and the Rasengan. Naruto replied, surprising all the Jounin. Naruto, if Jiraiya-sama allowed you to sign his summoning contract, can you please demonstrate it to our students? Kurana Yuhi asked. Sure. Naruto replied, bit his thumb, performed the hand signs, and slammed his hand on his bed. Summoning jutsu. When that happened, a small smoke cloud appeared, and when it faded, a small orange toad in a blue vest emerged. Hey Naruto, what's up? We heard about your battle in the Valley of the End, and Dad kept demanding Jiraiya summon some of us to visit you. Pops is going to be so happy you're alive, he said to me and Gamatsu that if you died he was going to hop down from Mount Mayaboku and squash the guy that killed you. The small toad said. Ah, that thing ticked. Ino yelled, causing everyone to cover their ears. It was then Sakura, Sasuke, and a purple-haired Anbu in a cat mask charged into the room. What happened? The Anbu said. Hey Yu-chan, nothing really, Ino just got freaked out about my little summoning friend. Naruto said with a smile. Hey, I remember you. You're the small toad Naruto accidentally summoned when he was fighting Gaara to protect me and Sakura. Sasuke said. Yup, that's me. The name's Gamakichi, and of the two sons of the chief toad and a good friend of Naruto. Gamakichi replied. By the way Kichi, I didn't think boss liked me so much. Naruto said. Bro, you are crazy. Of course dad likes you. Ever since you saved me from the Shukaku Jinchuriki and helped dad out by performing a henge, turning you both into the Kyuubi long enough for dad to get a good hold on that demon so you could sucker punch him awake so the demon could be resealed into that Gaara guy. Pops won't quit trying to make you our only summoner. Ichi replied, making Naruto blush a bit. Why would Naruto think of the Kyuubi to transform the chief toad into for a moment? Niji asked. Because the fourth sealed the Kyuubi into Naruto to save the leaf from destruction and he wanted the dope to be seen as a hero, but the village didn't agree with the last wish of Tsunade's predecessor. Sasuke said, surprising everyone in the room. It was then the Anbu in the room grabbed Sasuke and held a kunai to his throat, waiting for the order to kill him. Sasuke Uchiha, you are under arrest for revealing an S-class secret and shall be sentenced to death. Yugao said. What? Almost all the genin except Naruto screamed. Sasuke. Naruto said. How did you know about that? Simple Naruto, I started getting suspicious about how the fourth defeated the Kyuubi since Abiju is impossible to kill, and once I told my suspicion to my mother and brother, they told me about it as well as the law the third made to keep our generation from knowing so you could hopefully have a normal life. At first I didn't believe them, but your fight with Gaara and our fight proved them right. Not only that, but my mother told me that Jinchuriki like you and Gaara are forced to live the lives of loners, hated and feared for what you contain when all you want is friendship, love, and to be acknowledged as humans instead of monsters and weapons to be used and destroyed. Sasuke said, surprising everyone. Well Sasuke, if you know all this, why reveal it to everyone on penalty of death? Tsunade asked, wondering how much of his mind Sasuke lost. I'm doing it so everyone can get a look at the true Naruto Uzumaki. After all, Naruto should rightfully be Rookie of the Year since he was personally taught by my brother behind everyone's, including the third's backs. In fact, Naruto would be if not for the teachers in the academy who all had a chip on their shoulders, but after that Naruto decided to play the fool to receive attention instead of hate. The last Uchiha said, shocking everyone, even Tsunade then. Wow, Itachi really wanted us to be friends, that he'd tell his baby brother some of my secrets. Naruto said, chuckling a bit. Wait, Naruto, Sasuke's telling the truth? Tenten asked, still shocked. Yep, and there's a reason my Jinjutsu is non-existent. The blonde in bed said. Oh, and what reason is that? Asked Asuma Sarutobi. It was the Naruto made in hand sign and said Kai. After that a wave of chakra enveloped the room, signaling the release of a Jinjutsu. It was then everyone saw in Naruto's place a young blonde an inch or two taller than Sasuke with the body of a jounin with a couple of scars on him. I've been in a constant Jinjutsu for years, hiding from those who thought I was Kaiu, and if I became Rookie of the Year those fools throughout the village would believe she was influencing me. Naruto replied. Wait, the Kyuubi is a GG girl? Asked a surprised Hinata Hyuga. Yep, and she agreed that hiding the intelligence, skills, and jutsu I learned from her and Itachi was a good idea, and before any of you say anything, she didn't attack by choice. Naruto replied to Hinata. What do you mean, Naruto? Asked Tsunade. Simple, Kaiu was attacked and controlled by someone all of us thought to be dead since the time of the first. Naruto said. Well, who was it? We need to bring him to justice for all the suffering you went through. Sakura said, surprising Naruto. It was an eternal Mangekyo Sharingan that controlled her and caused the deaths of my parents. Naruto said. Wait a minute, there is only one person to ever have that, and that was Madara Uchiha. Sasuke said. Yeah, it turns out those eyes of his made him immortal and allowed him to extract Kaiu from her previous host, my mother Kushina Uzumaki. Naruto said, sadness in his voice. Wow, so it seems my brother and I aren't the last remaining Uchiha in the world. The founder of our clan still lives and ruined my best friend's life. Sasuke said. Olded Uchiha, you've no right to call my student your best friend when your team almost became younger replicas of the Sennin. Jiraiya said to Sasuke. Jiraiya's right, Sasuke, you almost became a traitor for power, the same reason Orochimaru left, and just like that snake you nearly killed your teammate who wanted to bring you home. Tsunade said. Still, I think of Sasuke as my best friend and he's not entirely like Orochimaru. Naruto said. What do you mean, Naruto-kun? Lee asked. Sasuke is doing this to redeem himself while Hibi team seeks no redemption, only destruction. Naruto replied. Yeah, and from the fact that no one's tried to kill you, Naruto, it seems nobody in here cares you got the Kyuubi. Sasuke said. Yep, he's right and I need to go home, but Naruto try to summon me and Tasu so we can play around. Said Kichi before he disappeared in a puff of smoke. Now onto the reason I came here. Said Jiraiya, earning looks from everyone else. Within 2 months' time I will be taking Naruto away from the village on a 3-year training trip, hopefully teaching you things that Itachi and Kyuubi haven't taught you. Jiraiya said. Well, now that everything has been settled, let's let Naruto get some rest so he can leave the hospital tomorrow," Tsunade said. It was a cloudy day in Konoha as the entire Rookie 12, their senseis, one Anbu, and two of the three Sennin walked out of the hospital since Naruto and Sasuke were finally cleared to leave. The rookies and their senseis were going to the training grounds to practice and hone their skills as 4 teams, and as individuals, the Anbu Yugao Yuzuki was going to practice her Kenjutsu skills, so she'll be ready to train with Naruto tonight. Jiraiya was going to the hot spring to spy on the girls for his books and think about what to train Naruto in. And finally Tsunade was preparing to go back to the Hokage Tower to give her assistant and student Shizune a break for the rest of the month and hire a temporary assistant to make sure she does her paperwork. All their plans were perfectly organized when an Anbu in a tiger mask shoeshined in front of the entire group. "Tsunade-sama, the council has requested yours and Uzumaki's presence immediately," spoke the new Anbu. "Well, Naruto, looks like we have a date with those arrogant bastards on the council," said Tsunade. "Yeah, I figured they'd make their move after I got out of the hospital, so they would love to see my reaction to my punishment for harming and nearly killing the last precious Uchiha," replied Naruto. After that, Naruto and Tsunade shoeshined to the council chamber to see the council's little scheme. Council chamber. The civilian council and the clan heads were shocked when a blonde boy taller than Naruto shoeshined into the council chamber alongside Tsunade. "Tsunade, what is the meaning of this? We wanted the demon child, not this boy," yelled a councilman before a kunai got lodged in his neck, causing everyone to gasp in shock. "I'm tired of everyone breaking Jai's law and mistaking me for Kaiu," Naruto said, surprising everyone other than Tsunade. "Before any of you arrogant fools not worth respecting crawl my ass about killing an innocent man, I will remind you all that even though the third is dead, his laws are still in effect, and the law regarding me and Kaiubi is still active and punishable by death, even though I knew about Kaiu before that idiot Mizuki," Naruto said, immediately silencing the civilians. "Also, Naruto and I already know we're here, so you can try to punish him for attempting to kill Sasuke in an unprovoked attack," Tsunade said, surprising them. "And how, pray tell, would you and that boy believe such a thing?" Hamura asked. "Simple, Hamura, you're the one who's had it in for Naruto since he was only a few hours old and the only one who made everyone doubt the fourth ceiling technique," said Hiashi Hyuga, surprising everyone. "Wait a minute, is Hiashi defending Naruto? I think my death is near," spoke out a surprised Danzo Shimura, shocking everyone else, even Hiashi, when the old warhawk said Naruto's first name. "Oh, Danzo-sensei, why did you and Hiashi have to shock them so much?" Naruto said, nearly giving everyone except Danzo a heart attack. "Danzo, explain why Naruto called you sensei," said Tsunade. "But I approached Naruto and offered him a place in Root like I always wanted, only I made him my personal apprentice and my successor in leading Root. I was also surprised when I found Naruto had enough skills to be the youngest Hokage in history, especially when he was taught by our dear Itachi Uchiha," Danzo said. "What?" Every civilian including Saya Haruno screamed. "It's true, Itachi wanted me to be safe from all the assassination attempts Hamura team had thrown at me," Naruto said. "Still, it is the decision of the entire civilian council and the daimyo that Naruto Uzumaki is to be banished on grounds of an unprovoked attack on Sasuke Uchiha, and as you note, Tsunade, the daimyo's decision cannot be countered by the Hokage," said Hamura with a proud smirk on his face. "Okay, I don't mind being banished since it gets me out of a village of hypocrites and finally frees me from the hatred of the older generation," Naruto said, removing his headband. "Wait, Naruto, what about your dream of being Hokage?" Tsunade asked, beginning to panic. "Don't worry, Bachan, I figured that one day I would never reach that goal because of people who don't know the difference between a kunai and the scroll it's sealed in," Naruto replied. After that, Naruto began to leave the council chamber and head to his apartment to pack up and leave Konoha. Konoha main gates. Midnight. Naruto stood at the main gates of the village about to leave due to his recent banishment. When he stepped through the main gates, he decided to do a little tree hopping until he got to a clearing and decided to set up camp for the night. Konoha Hokage's office next day. The entire rookies along with their senseis, Yugao and Jiraiya along with Kaharu, Danzo, and the clan heads were in Tsunade's office with a sad Hokage and a weeping Shizune. "So the civilians banished Naruto under the guise of attacking and trying to kill me," Sasuke said. "Yes, though there are other things we need to discuss besides that, like how Hiashi called Naruto by his first name for once," Shibi Aburam said, shocking Hinata and Niji. "I've held no ill will towards young Naruto, in fact his father and I were best friends and rivals, but I couldn't help him because of the Hyuga clan council. Yet Hisashi and I always tried to help him behind the scenes with food and money for his utilities," Hiashi said. "But uncle, if you helped Naruto, why weren't you nicer to Hinata as well and helping her with her training?" asked a somewhat angry Niji. "Simple, Niji, I was trying to get Hinata to abandon trying to learn the gentle fist because she takes after her mother so much," After all, the gentle fist requires the user to be stable and strong. Hinata did not fit the style, because like my late wife, my firstborn daughter has fluid and flexible movements into jutsu like a water jutsu user. So I have been wanting Hinata to make her own branch of the gentle fist, one that ebbed and flowed like the seas themselves to provide a good offense and defense. The Hyuga head replied. Now, Hiashi began. We should discuss Danzo training Naruto behind the third's back. This statement shocked the jounin in the room. I have nothing to explain. From seeing Naruto being trained and taught by Itachi, I realized that he would not be a good subordinate, but he would be an amazing leader. His emotions and skills together coupled with his training and intelligence made him my ideal successor in leading Root. Danzo replied, shedding a lot of light. Don't worry though, this isn't the last time we'll have heard from Naruto Uzumaki. Danzo said, lifting the rookie's spirits. Somewhere in Itagakure, a silver-haired man with glasses shoeshined into the room of his leader and master Orochimaru of the Sennin. Tell Kabuto what you have found out in the Leaf Village. The old snake demanded, annoyed at losing the last Uchiha. Quite a few things that would actually kill you from shock, Orochimaru-sama, said a smirking Kabuto as he adjusted his glasses. Ahahaha, what information could you have that would possibly bring me even an inch towards death's door, my dear spy? Orochimaru said, having a good laugh. The fact that Naruto-kun was banished for bringing Sasuke back under the accusation of nearly killing him in an unprovoked attack. Kabuto began explaining. As well as during the council meeting, it was revealed that Naruto-kun was revealed to be trained by Itachi and Danzo, and he is to take Danzo's place as leader of Root when the old Warhawk dies. Kabuto finished. What? The old snake screamed from shock and clenched his chest in pain from a severe heart attack before being saved by his right-hand man. If Naruto is so powerful, then he is quite a prize, and now that he's no longer in the Leaf, we can make a move to try and bring him to our cause. Orochimaru said, smiling from the fact that the Jinchuriki seemed to be more powerful than anyone could imagine. What do you wish to do, Orochimaru-sama? Kabuto asked. We're going on a fox hunt. The Sennin replied with a smirk. Soon, Naruto-kun, soon you will be mine, thought the old snake. Naruto began waking up right as the sun started to rise and began thinking of all the biggest moments in his life since he first trained under Itachi. I wonder when Danzo-sensei will reveal to Bachan about our contingency plan with Itachi-sensei. Naruto thought, excited for when they learn about the hidden plan in case the Leaf truly became dumb enough to banish him. After that, he got up and began to proceed to head to border between Kaminari no Kuni and Tsuchi no Kuni, and then he will proceed to the next stage of the plan. When Naruto crossed into the border, he bit his thumb, did some hand signs, and called up Gamakichi. Hey bro, what's going on, where are we, and would you call MMPH? Gamakichi couldn't say another word since Naruto covered the tiny toad's mouth so he could speak. Okay Kichi, first off, I've been banished from Konoha by the civilian council. We're at the border between the lands of fire, earth, and lightning, and I summoned you because I meant to summon you and your brother so you could try and find Itachi Uchiha, and your brother would go to Danzo Shimura to relay a message for them. Naruto explained to his first friend among the toads. I see, I'll head home and let Tasu know about our job, but because it's two we have to see and Jiraiya and Dad aren't fans of either of them despite them teaching you when you were a kid, it would take a lot of treats for me and Tasu. Afterwards I'll come back with Tasu after we finish the job for our payment. Gamakichi replied, making Naruto smile. Thanks Kichi, when you and Tasu meet up with Itachi and Danzo, tell them the fox is out of the cage. I'll talk to you soon, little buddy. Naruto said as he and Gamakichi waved goodbye to one another, and then in a puff of smoke the little toad disappeared. Mount Myaboku. Once Gamakichi got back home, the little guy was hopping around the mountain to find his dad and brother to let them know of the message assignment Naruto gave the sons of the chief toad. After a while he found them among a grove of giant mushrooms, with Gamabunta relaxing seemingly in a trance. Little did the little toads know their father was remembering his childhood with the toad sage Jiraiya, especially since he was in the area they met when the idiot tried to summon something without a contract, only to wind up in the realm of the toads. Unfortunately, as he was chuckling from that very memory, he was brought out of his flashbacks by his tiny look-alike hopping onto his nose. Gamakichi, you better have a good reason as to why you haven't been seen a lot the past couple days, or else I'll leave you with Fukasaku-sama and Shima-sama. Bunta said, feeling annoyed he hasn't been able to spend time with his sons after getting much closer to them ever since Naruto first summoned him. Oh, I'd been summoned by Naruto 2 days in a row, Pops, and my head was spinning from what I learned yesterday. Today, however, I was going to tell you everything, but Naruto summoned me, trying to summon me and Gamatasu to relay a message to Itachi Uchiha and Danzo Shimura. Gamakichi replied to his dad. Why would Naruto wish to speak to the man responsible for the Uchiha massacre and the leader of Root? Gamabunta asked, really confused. Actually, it turns out Naruto isn't stupid, and he's far stronger than all the Sennin when he's at his best. The reason for that is because as a child he was taught and trained by Itachi, and after the massacre he was trained personally by Danzo, made a member of Root, and named Danzo's successor to lead Root when the old man dies. He also knows his heritage. As for wanting to get in touch with them through me and Tasu, Naruto was banished from Konoha by the civilian council because they banished him for hurting the youngest Uchiha in an unprovoked attack. The tiny toad told his dear dad, who was beginning to lose his temper with the civilians of that village. What they did to Naruto Nyasen was very mean. I'll help him get that message to those guys. Gamatasu said with a fire burning in his eyes to help his best friend. Well boy, since I and every other toad summon actually favor Naruto over Jiraiya, the only human I knew when I was just a bit older than you two, I know Naruto can be trusted in this one, so to help out Gamakichi, you will give this message of Naruto's to Itachi, and little Tasu will look for an old man whose face is mostly wrapped in bandages with only one closed eye, his nose, and his mouth showing. Bunta told them, wanting to help Naruto despite not knowing his plan. Gotcha pop. And in a puff of smoke the toads were gone, Gamakichi to Itachi and Gamatasu to Danzo. With Itachi, the older of the Uchiha brothers, was traveling with his partner in Akatsuki Kisame Hashigaki to hunt down the Kyuubi Jinchuriki Naruto Uzumaki, but even though he has to hunt down Naruto, Itachi plans on protecting his student. There was just one questionable obstacle, and that was his blue-skinned partner and former member of the Seven Swordsmen of the Mist, Kisame. I hope Naruto is okay. After all, the last time I met up with my only student wasn't on the best of terms since Kisame and I have to capture the Biju. I can't wait to turn on the Akatsuki. After all, the only ones I consider remotely deadly are Pain and Madara. Thought, one of the last Uchiha in the world. His thoughts on Naruto were cut short when he heard a poof sound nearby. Apparently from the look on Kisame's face he heard it too. Kisame, I'll investigate that sound. You find us a place to rest for the night. We need to be at our absolute best when facing the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. Itachi ordered his partner. Alright Itachi, after all not many shinobi can stand against us even when separate. Just try not to use your Mangekyo Sharingan, we wouldn't want you going blind on us. Kisame replied with a smirk. After splitting up, Itachi went to where he heard the noise to see an orange toad sitting in front of him. Yo, you Itachi Uchiha? Asked the now revealed summoning toad. Yes, why are you here? Since I doubt Jiraiya of the Sennin knows where I am, replied a curious Uchiha. The fox is out of the cage, was Gamakichi's simple reply. Where is he? Itachi asked, completely shocked. Border between Hai Kaminari and Tsuchi no Kunis, the little toad answered. I see, tell him I'll meet him soon. Itachi ordered Gamakichi, who then disappeared in a puff of smoke. So when are we going to meet the little brat now that he's out of Konoha? Kisame asked from behind Itachi. After I take care of a loose end. Itachi replied, preparing to kill Kisame. Relax, I'm not going to hurt the kid. I plan to betray Akatsuki with you and help out the kid once I know the plan. Kisame replied, calming his partner. Then let's go. And with that, Itachi and Kisame shooshined to Naruto. Root headquarters. Danzo's office. Danzo was looking over the progress of all his Root operatives when a small yellow summoning toad appeared in front of him. The summoning toad, so what message does Naruto have for me? Danzo asked, smiling as he sat back in his chair. The fox has left the cage. Gamatasu replied, instantly causing Danzo to stiffen with excitement. Where can I find my old apprentice? Danzo then asked, eager to begin the plan. The border between Hai Kaminari and Tsuchi no Kunis. The young toad answered without a second thought. Ah, I see, a perfect meeting place. You can go home now, young toad, I have business to attend to, and be sure to let Naruto know Root will see him soon. Danzo said before Tasu left in a puff of smoke. After Gamatasu left, Danzo summoned all the members of Root to the main training field. Root, it is time to commence contingency plan Ryu. Danzo announced, bringing back the emotion of shock to every Root operative. With Naruto. Just as soon as Gamakichi and Gamatasu left their targets, they appeared to Naruto at the exact same moment. Message delivered, bro. The young toad said at the same time. Great job guys, go home now and be sure to tell Big Ol Bunta I said hi. Naruto said before the toads waved and went home. Things are going to be changing in the elemental nations big time. Naruto thought as he prepared to meet his senseis and begin his destiny. A zombie, an immortal, a cat, and a fox. It's been 2 days since Naruto summoned Gamakichi and Gamatasu and had them deliver the message to Itachi and Danzo, and now he has been waiting patiently by himself, anxious to put their contingency plan into action. Little did Naruto-chan know he was about to have some company, and one of them has history with his tenant. Location near Naruto. 2 men were traveling down a road between the borders of Kaminari and Tsuchi no Kunis. One had green eyes as dark as emeralds, while the rest of his face was covered by a mask, and his headband bearing the symbol of Takigakur, the hidden waterfall village. The other had silver hair, dark red eyes almost reminiscent to dried blood, an amulet marking him a Jashinist, and his headband had the mark of Yukagakure, the village hidden in hot water. The two most worrisome things about these men were the slashes through their headbands marking them as missing nin, and the black cloaks with red clouds, showing they were of the group known as Akatsuki. These two men are Kakuzu of Taki and Haiden of Yuka. At the moment these two men were going down the path with an unconscious woman wearing the clothes of a jounin draped over Haiden's shoulder. "Boy Kakuzu, when are we gonna start removing the biju from this bitch? I'm getting sick of carrying her all the ink time," whined the annoyed immortal. "Soon Haiden, but if you don't quit whining like a spoiled child you won't live long enough," Kakuzu replied, highly annoyed with his partner. "Yeah, you keep saying that and I'm getting sick of it. I haven't been able to sacrifice anyone in the name of Jashin, and I'm getting so pissed I'm very tempted to sacrifice this bitch to my lord," spoke Haiden. "You know Leader Sama would literally have your head for killing her before we extracted the biju, and I would rip your arms off before you killed me," the masked man replied. "Also hunting the Jinchuriki is counterproductive to me providing the Akatsuki more funds. Geez, what's with you and money Kakuzu? Sometimes I think you're completely obsessed with it," Haiden spoke to his partner. "No more than you are with your religion, and we're near the exact center between Hai, Kaminari, and Tsuchi no Kunis," replied the waterfall rogue. After that exchange the two Akatsuki proceeded in silence, unaware that some of their conversation was heard by the most powerful of the 9 sacrifices. With Naruto. Naruto was planning to prepare one of his many instant ramen cups for a before training breakfast and was on his way to a stream to get the water for it when he immediately saw 2 men wearing cloaks of the Akatsuki. Deciding he didn't want to be spotted by the S-rank nuke nin, he leapt into the bushes and decided to spy on his enemy, and that was when he noticed the unconscious woman draped over Haiden's shoulder. As he stared at her feeling something familiar about her, Kyuubi decided to speak up, surprising the blonde. "Naruto, that woman, I can tell she's Nibi's Jinchuriki," Kyuubi said with surprise in her voice. "By Nibi do you mean your little sis the two-tailed cat?" Naruto asked with wide eyes, never leaving the woman over Haiden's shoulder. "Well, since those two are about to speak, how about we listen in on them by focusing my chakra in your ears?" she replied easily. After that he did as she said and listened in on the entire conversation. "Boy Kakuzu, when are we gonna start removing the biju from this bitch? I'm getting sick of carrying her all the ink time," whined the annoyed immortal. "Soon Haiden, but if you don't quit whining like a spoiled child you won't live long enough," Kakuzu replied, highly annoyed with his partner. "Yeah, you keep saying that and I'm getting sick of it. I haven't been able to sacrifice anyone in the name of Jashin, and I'm getting so pissed I'm very tempted to sacrifice this bitch to my lord," spoke Haiden. "You know Leader Sama would literally have your head for killing her before we extracted the biju, and I would rip your arms off before you killed me," the masked man replied. "Also hunting the Jinchuriki is counterproductive to me providing the Akatsuki more funds. Geez, what's with you and money Kakuzu? Sometimes I think you're completely obsessed with it," Haiden spoke to his partner. "No more than you are with your religion, and we're near the exact center between Hai, Kaminari, and Tsuchi no Kunis," replied the waterfall rogue. After hearing all of that, Naruto was starting to let Kyuubi's chakra flow if he hadn't realized what he was about to do. After he calmed down though, he started to form a plan after hearing their conversation and decided to test if Haiden was truly immortal. It was then Naruto rolled up his sleeve and flooded a seal on his arm with enough chakra that he was able to unseal an Anbu sword courtesy of his days en route and started one-handed seals. "Wind style. Air bullet jutsu," Naruto whispered after he threw his sword at Kakuzu's back, piercing his spine and heart and pinning him to a nearby boulder. "Who the is the dead bastard that did that? First one to guess who it is that yelled that gets points to being a beta." After striking Kakuzu, Naruto performed a shushin to get behind Haiden and with a second sword chopped off his head and sliced his limbs off his torso. After that he took the unconscious Jinchuriki and moved her way from the battlefield. "What the hell are you to chop me to bits and pin Kakuzu to a tree like that?" Haiden yelled at the top of his missing lungs. "I admit to get us like this, whoever this person is, he is very impressive," Kakuzu spoke, surprising Naruto, who thought Haiden's partner was dead. After scaring the Uzumaki, Kakuzu pushed himself away from the tree, ripped Naruto's sword out of his back and tossed it to the blonde. "To slice up Haiden and pierce one of my hearts within such a short moment. You truly are an impressive shinobi," Kakuzu stated, not knowing who he was talking about. "Wait, you said one of your hearts? If you have more than one, how many do you have?" Naruto asked after shaking off his surprise. However, unknown to anyone, the Nibi Jinchuriki was starting to awaken, as well as seeing her kidnappers in a confrontation with an unknown nin. "You'll have to find out for yourself if you can survive long enough to learn, that is," replied the only useful Akatsuki member there. "Now if you wish to avoid an unnecessary death, hand over the Jinchuriki," Kakuzu demanded, with Haiden just watching feeling as useless as a pumpkin. After hearing Kakuzu's demand, the Kumo Kunoichi was starting to shake with fear that this person would just abandon her. "Which Jinchuriki?" Naruto asked, confusing them. "You mean which Jinchuriki, you idiotic bastard?" Hayden shouted, annoyed he can't sacrifice Naruto to Jashin. "I mean, do you want the Jinchuriki of Nibi or Kyuubi?" Naruto specified his question, causing everyone's eyes including Nibi's to widen. "Hidden, did that guy really say Kyuubi?" Nibi asked her container after she regained consciousness herself. "I guess so, Nibi, so if he's serious then we're staring at the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, which is a huge shocker." Nibi's host replied to her tenant. "So we were ambushed by the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, huh?" Hayden asked, actually calm. "It seems so, Hayden, and he's more powerful than Itachi and Kisame said he was. Then again, he could have been hiding his power when he first learned of our existence." The severed head's partner replied. "Yep, I was hiding my true self because I'm a living S-rank secret, not that you two will live long enough to spread the word," Naruto said to them, leaving the Akatsuki members and the Jinchuriki behind him completely curious. "I see you're all curious as to what I mean, so allow me to introduce myself," Naruto began. "I am Naruto Uzumaki, Namikaze, son of the Yondaime Hokage and Konoha's Yellow Flash Minato Namikaze, and Kushina Uzumaki, exiled Konoha shinobi, former agent of Konoha's root and Jinchuriki of Kyuubi no Kitsune." Naruto introduced himself, surprising the two people, one demon and the severed head of Hayden. Hayden doesn't count as a person if he's nothing but a severed head. "I see your reputation is impressive, Namikaze-san, and from your introduction, I can tell you were holding back some very personal information, so for that I can actually respect you as I fight you," Kakuzu said with an impressed tone of voice. After he finished though, 4 masked monsters emerged from Kakuzu's back and flew past Naruto over toward the surprised Nibi Jinchuriki. However, as Naruto watched everything started moving in slow motion, his vision heightened. He could see the woman's chakra network and the chakra of the creatures flying toward her, and he suddenly raised his hands in the air, pointing to the monsters. "Banshim Tenon." As soon as Naruto yelled those 2 words, the 4 masked monsters were instantly being pulled to Naruto, and as this happened, he grabbed both his swords and sliced 2 masks, destroying half the monsters, and managed to nail another with a Rasengan right in the center of the mask, destroying 3 out of 4. The last one flew back into Kakuzu. "You unbelievable, you took out 4 out of my 5 hearts. It's a good thing my last one flew back into me, so no, I can get you back by capturing you both, extracting your biju, and taking your hearts to add to my own," Kakuzu said, creeping out Naruto and the Kunoichi. "Okay, that's disturbing, but if you're now down to 1 heart, maybe your partner should look behind you and see your death," Naruto said, causing Hayden to move his eyes and see a second Naruto behind Kakuzu. "Kakuzu behind you?" Hayden attempted to warn his soon-to-be dead partner. Kakuzu replied, only to see a second Naruto come at Kakuzu with a now fully charged Rasengan and slammed it right into his chest, taking out his final heart, leaving a shocked Hayden head and Nibi Jinchuriki with an impressed Nibi watching from inside her host. After ending Kakuzu, Naruto walked over to Hayden's head, picked him up and walked over to the Kumo Kunoichi, put Hayden's head in a ceiling scroll and carried the Kunoichi to his campsite, who actually blushed the whole time. "So care to tell me your name?" Naruto asked the Jinchuriki. "Well, since I know yours and the fact you're the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, it would make sense to tell you my name," she said. "I'm Yugito Nai, the Nibi Jinchuriki. Thanks for helping me, even though there wasn't much reason to," Yugito told him. "Actually, helping a person in danger is enough reason. The fact that you're a Jinchuriki like me is just more motivation, especially since that Kakuzu guy said that once he captured us our biju would be extracted. So if I'm wrong, once Nibi and Kyuubi were ripped out of us we'd be dead," Naruto said, somewhat impressing Yugito. "So what happened to get you exiled from Konoha?" Yugito asked, curious as the cat within her. "Got exiled because I hurt the last Uchiha. Not to worry, though I have a plan to get back at Konoha, especially for the lousy childhood the civilians forced on me," Naruto replied, surprising Yugito. "Wow, so what were you doing here between the borders of Hai, Tsuchi, and Kaminari no Kunis?" Yugito asked, wondering if it was coincidence that he was able to save her. "Oh, simple, this area is where the plan begins, though at the moment I'm waiting for my very first senseis, so the plan can truly begin," Naruto replied, again causing Yugito to think that it was fate for them to meet. "So who are these sensei of yours?" Yugito asked, still curious as to who could give Naruto so much power to take down 2 Akatsuki members without a scratch. "Oh, you'll find out in the next couple days, Yugito-san. Until then, let's rest and get to know each other if we're going to trust each other," Naruto replied before the two decided to set up camp and go to bed, as the sun had set since the fight with Hayden and Kakuzu. Eavesdropping. Detsu demon, summon, and inner Sakura talking. Demon, summon, inner Sakura thinking. First master arrives and introductions. It had been 3 days since Yugito had met Naruto, and the Jinchuriki hit it off really well. First it had been a comparison of their lives in their respective villages, and she was shocked to know Naruto's was way worse before he met his very first two senseis. Naruto wasn't too surprised that Yugito was thought of as Nibi, but he was pissed by the fact that a lot of guys asked Yugito out only because they wanted to be the big shot to claim that they slept with a demon slut. However, he was surprised that the entire ninja population and half the civilians in Kumagakure actually liked Jinchurikis and thought of them as protectors. His biggest surprise from that though was the fact that Kurabi, the killer bee of Kumo, was the one who got them to think that since he has full control of his Biju form, it didn't hurt that he was the Raikage's brother either. Yugito however was disgusted with Konoha, since ever since Naruto was a baby the entire civilian and half the ninja populations have been trying to kill him. The only ones who cared about him for most of his life were the third Hokage, an old ramen chef, his daughter, and a few Anbu who protected him. She was shocked when she heard the infamous Danzo Shimura took Naruto in when he was around 8 and made him a part of Root, and amazed when she found out that not only was Naruto named Danzo's successor to Lead Root when the geezer died. She was also impressed that before then he was trained by the legendary leaf trader Itachi Uchiha. Such knowledge now made her slightly afraid of the blonde in front of her. Ever since then the two have been making sure their campsite doesn't get any unwanted guests. As Naruto was preparing a few fish over a fire he was thinking if he should tell Yugito his last secret. Go ahead kid, go on and tell her that her mentor Kurabi isn't the only one with good control over their demonic chakra, since I personally taught you to control up to 7 tails. Caillou said with a mix of pride and arrogance. Hey Yugito. Naruto said. Yes. Which Biju does Kurabi contain? Naruto asked, wanting to know before telling her. He's got Hachibi, the 8-tailed octopus as he calls it. She replied, wondering why he'd ask. Suddenly after Yugito answered that question, red chakra started forming into a fox shape with 4 tails already formed and 3 more tails on the way. Then Naruto, what are you doing? Yugito asked, afraid. You said B had control over all 8 tails. Well, I wanted to show you how much control I gained over Caillou's since she taught me to control up to 7 tails so far. Naruto replied, his with 7 chakra tails wagging behind his cloaked body. Wow, I don't know whether to be terrified of your power or listen to Nibi. Yugito thought out loud. Oh kid, if she talks to Nibi-chan then I should tell you now before it's too late. Kyuubi spoke out in Naruto's head. Before what's too late? He replied to his partner. Before you lose your virginity, because Nibi is a crazed feline and the one Biju that would try to mate with any strong man, and I bet hearing about every one of your senseis is making her pretty damn horny. Kai replied with a smirk. Wow, really? So I'm guessing that Nibi would want Yugito to do it with me. The more she learns about me that impresses her, huh? Naruto asked, probably betting Kyuubi doesn't know what he's planning. After that mental conversation, Naruto and Yugito both sensed something, or in this case, somethings, as 2 Akatsuki members appeared in front of the Jinchuriki, and when the two saw who the members were, Naruto was slightly happy since the two were Itachi Uchiha and Kisame Hashigaki. Itachi-sensei, it's great to see you, but what's the walking sushi buffet doing here? Naruto asked, causing different reactions to Kisame's nickname, a smirk from the Uchiha, a giggle from the Jinchuriki, and a growl from the sushi buffet. Watch it kid, or I let Shamahada absorb your chakra slowly so you can feel every last drop of yours and the 9 tails chakra be drained from you like a battery. Kisame threatened. Actually, that was a pretty funny comment, Naruto. I just think sushi here is a bit sensitive. Itachi commented with a smile, causing Kisame to look at his partner in shock. That's one reason sensei always loved me, because I could make him laugh more than anyone else in his life. Naruto said with a smile, leaving Kisame looking even more fish-faced. By the Naruto-kun is that the 2 tails Jinchuriki hiding behind you while giving Kisame and me a cautious glare. Itachi asked, looking at the wary girl hiding behind Naruto for protection. Yeah, by the way, would you happen to know a guy who can talk even as a severed head and a guy with masked monsters coming out his back? Naruto asked his very first sensei. Well, if the kid took down Haiden and Kakuzu, then I'm extremely impressed with your former disciple Itachi. Our shark-faced friend spoke. Yes, it just proves that he can become a threat to Akatsuki and its destruction, so Kisame, this leaves us in an awkward position. Itachi spoke in an emotionless tone, letting everyone know he was serious. With what you now know of Naruto, will you try to kill me for betraying Akatsuki and then capture Naruto, the 2 tails Jinchuriki, or will you prove to be a true friend of mine and join us, because I can tell for a fact that the girl will follow Naruto, if just to make sure neither of them are attacked by Akatsuki. Itachi said, giving Kisame a big choice. Parallax Itachi, the 7 swordsmen of the mist, used to be honorable warriors who swear on their blades to never betray a friend, so I, Kisame Hashigaki, the monster of the mist and former 7 swordsman, swear to follow my friend and his disciple, no matter what. The shark man replied. But now Naruto-kun, I don't recall hearing you introduce the girl to us, so may we now know her name? Itachi asked his favorite friend. After that exchange, Yugito walked out from behind Naruto and looked at Itachi and kissed him. My name is Yugito Nai, probably ex-Kumo Nin now, Jinchuriki of the Nibi no Nakamata, and for now ally of Naru-kun. She said, smiling at the last part and looking at Naruto with a slight blush. What she didn't notice though was that ever since she said Naru-kun she was getting a stern look from Itachi and a slightly surprised look from a slightly blushing Naruto. Miss Nai was it. Just so you know, no woman, not even Aya Michiraku, has ever called my student Naru-kun and meant it, so until I learn that you truly like him, I will be watching you like a hawk. Itachi whispered in her ear so low that Naruto couldn't hear him. After hearing his subtle threat and comment about Naruto, Yugito was left wide-eyed, but she knew she had nothing to worry about. Since after being saved from two S-ranked criminals and learning about his life, she can honestly tell Itachi that she genuinely cares for the blonde boy. Hey sensei, I was thinking about something, Yugito said. Naruto spoke. What is it, Naruto? The Uchiha replied. Well, I was thinking maybe I could send a toad to Kumo to tell the Raikage and the Eight Tails Jinchuriki that Yugito is safe, she'll be traveling with us, and warn them about the Akatsuki, and for that last part you and Kisum might need to help me, since you guys probably know every last member of the organization. The blonde boy said, amazing everyone. That's actually a good idea, and it's a good way for Itachi and me to earn Yugito's and Kumo's trust, since we know the remaining members and their specialties, but Naruto would need to send a fast ode. Kisum replied, impressed by Naruto's plan. It is indeed a good plan, and the Raikage could aid us in our plan, Naruto. For now though, let's tell the Raikage about Yugito's condition and the Akatsuki, then we'll let him know of our plan. Naruto's first sensei said. After that exchange, Naruto summoned the best messenger Todi knew of, but he was busy, so Naruto had to settle with Gamakichi. Just kidding. Wrote the message for the Raikage and had Kichi go to Kumo as fast as the little guy could go. When that was finished, the group of now four chose to wait for in a couple more days Danzo would come, the plan would begin, and they would gain the help of all the shinobi villages that bore Jinchuriki and even some that had no Jinchuriki. Second sensei and message. It's been a few hours since Itachi Uchiha and Kisum Hoshigaki had arrived and joined up with Naruto, Uzumaki Namikaze and Yugito Nai, and at the moment Naruto and Itachi, the Akatsuki members now traveling with the two Jinchuriki, were preparing a message about Yugito's condition and the warning about Akatsuki with information about the members for the Raikage of Kumagakure. At this very moment Itachi was telling Naruto of the remaining member, now that Haiden and Kakuzu were dead. Okay Naruto, aside from Kisum and I who were sent after you. The other members of Akatsuki would be Sasori of the Red Sand and Deidara the Mad Bomber, who are after the Ichibi no Shikaku, which is in your friend Gaara. After those two would be Zetsu, the organization spy for the Jinchuriki, who at the moment is making tabs on the Sanbi, Yanbi, Gobi, Rikubi and Nanabi. Next is Tobi, a masked member whose identity I know, but need to prove to the other villages. Then there is only one more team consisting of Konin the Paper Mistress and the organization's leader Pain, the so-called God of Peace. Those two are stationed in Omegakure and made it a fortress that only someone like Jiraiya could get in. Itachi said, giving Naruto basic information to interest the Raikage. Okay sensei, the message is done. Now I just need to call my favorite little messenger. Naruto said, bit his thumb for blood, performed the hand signs, and slammed his hand on the ground. Kuchius no Jutsu, he shouted, and in a puff of smoke Gamakichi appeared. Yo Naruto, what's up? Kichi asked playfully. Hey Kichi, do you know the way to the Raikage's office in Kumagakure no Sado? The blonde shinobi asked his tiny friend. Sure, why do you ask, bro? The young toad replied to his human friend. Well, can you deliver this message to the Raikage? He asked. It must be pretty important if you want me to directly deliver to the Raikage. Gamakichi replied. Its importance could be considered S rank. Possibly even SS rank important. Naruto replied to his friend. Well, if it has to do with the Akatsuki members, and the Kumo Kunoichi behind you, then yeah, I can make it there and back faster than Gamatsu can ask for candy. The toad replied to his bro with a wink. Thanks Gamakichi, you're a real friend. Naruto said, making Kichi smile. No problem Naruto, but with these messages to Itachi, Danzo, and even the Raikage of Kumo, you're going to have to lay low if Dad and the perv find out. Gamakichi replied and warned his best human friend. Thanks Kichi, and if they do find out I'll tell them the truth. Plus if they get angry I got Itachi-sensei, Sushi, and Yugito-chan backing me up, the blonde replied, making the tiny toad laugh, the Kunoichi giggle, and his sensei smile. Would you quit calling me Sushi? Kisum yelled, annoyed from being called Sushi again by the brat. It was then Itachi walked to Itachi and placed a hand on his shoulder. Relax, giving nicknames like that is how he shows he likes you, Sushi. Itachi spoke with a chuckle at the end, surprising and embarrassing the monster of the mist. After that Gamakichi poofed away, leaving the four humans. I don't know if Kisum's human or fish, so I'm just going with human. Where they summoned him to await the arrival of Danzo Shimura and his rude Anbu. Kumagakure. Raikage's office. Raikage, the strongest Kumonin to many in the village hidden in the clouds, was actually feeling very weak at this moment because a member of his village, and his adopted daughter in fact, was recently kidnapped by two unknown shinobi wearing black cloaks with red clouds. He could only guess that they were members of the Akatsuki that Jiraiya and Tsunade of the Sennin had warned him and the other villages about. Unfortunately, he was far too stubborn to listen to Konoha, which seems to have cost Kumo one of their Jinchuriki, but it might have cost the Kage himself the daughter of his best friends, whom he adopted to protect from the prejudice of being a Jinchuriki. However, as the man paces his office trying to think of a way to save her, in a puff of smoke, a small orange summon toad appeared on his desk with a scroll. A summon toad? What does Jiraiya want at a time like this? The Raikage asked the toad angrily. The perv didn't send me. The toad stated, surprising the buff Kage. But if Jiraiya the toad sage didn't send you, then who did? The still stunned man asked. If you want to know, then read this scroll. It has some things you really need to know. The toad replied while taking the scroll of his back and gave the Raikage the message that will give him some answers. Raikage. If you're reading this, then Gamakichi got this to you just like he promised. My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze ex-shinobi of Konoha and Jinchuriki of Kyuubi. In the beginning I was waiting for my childhood senseis between the borders of Hai, Tsuchi, and Kaminari no Kunis. However, I encountered a couple members of Akatsuki carrying a blonde, who Kyuubi told me was the container of Nibi. Being a nice guy, I couldn't leave a woman like that when she needed help. I was able to kill the Akatsuki members and save Yugito, since they didn't know what I could do. Now I request that Yugito travel with me, and to ease worries you could send Killer B to make sure. I could also use his help to go beyond Seven Tails with Kaiu's chakra without losing myself. As for Akatsuki, one of my first two senseis gave me info on all the members. The first team is Sasori of the Red Sand and Deidara the Mad Bomber, who are after Gaara of the Sand, Itachi Uchiha and Kisame Hashigaki, who target me. Itachi is actually one of the sensei, and thanks to the bond he made with Kisame they are on our side, unless you don't care about the fate of every Jinchuriki and Biju in the elemental nations. Next is Zetsu of Grass, who is the organization spy, and Tobi, who sensei is researching. Finally there is Konan the Paper Mistress and Pain the so-called God of Peace, and they are in aim. Lord Raikage, if you desire more information to send every hidden village, I, Itachi sensei, Yugito, and Kisame, will come to Kumo as soon as we meet up with my other sensei Danzo Shimura and his route. Should we meet, I'll explain everything face to face. It would be best to hear from you as soon as you finish reading this. Sincerely. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Ah, so Yugito is safe. The Raikage said in relief before glaring at the toad on his desk. Amakichi was it? He began, and the toad nodded. Tell Namikaze that immediately after he meets Danzo they are all to come here so we can further discuss his message. The Kage finished. Oh okay, Gamakichi replied and disappeared in another puff of smoke. With Naruto and the others when the Raikage reads the message. The group of four was sitting around a fire eating some fish Naruto and Kisame caught and cooked while waiting for Gamakichi and Danzo. Naruto Yugito began, I think we're being watched. She said. Earl, the three of us sensed them before we cooked the fish. Kisame replied. Danzo sensei, you can come out and have a fish now. Naruto called. From that an old man wearing robes with one good arm, a cane, a visible yet closed eye, and a covered eye emerged from the shadows and gave Naruto a warm smile. Thank you Naruto, I was getting tired of waiting for the Kumo girl to sense us. Danzo spoke as his root emerged from the shadows as well. Discussions, a teacher, a bloodline, and journey to Kumo. Yugito Nai was quite shocked at the moment. Naruto had told her that Danzo Shimura, the Warhawk of Konoha himself, took Naruto as an apprentice and made him successor to Root, but to actually see them being friendly towards one another was something else altogether. So Naruto Danzo began and shook Yugito from her thoughts. Itachi told me you bested the Nuke Ninkakuzu of the village hidden in the waterfall, correct? The old man asked his student. Yeah, I did. Why do you ask, Danzo sensei? Naruto asked while eating his fish. Naruto, Itachi began. Kakuzu is a hard opponent for anyone, and no one has challenged him or even bested him in battle, except for Hashirama Senju. The Uchiha continued. Wait, wasn't that Bachan's Jai-san, and the first Hokage of Konoha? Naruto asked. Yes, the man is older than Danzo, Hiruzen, Kaheru, and Homura, and even when Hashirama fought Kakuzu, the first had some trouble since the man was powerful even back then. Itachi replied. Wow, that guy fought the first Hokage and lived for years until he died by my hand, that's insane. Naruto ranted. The puzzle for us is how did you defeat him and the masked monsters that contained his extra hearts at the same time? Danzo asked. Well, when I got into the fight, I could somehow see them come at me from every angle and I could perceive their moves. Naruto began getting Itachi and Danzo more curious. I even managed to release a burst of chakra pushing them away and destroying all three before a shadow clone ended Kakuzu himself with a Rasengan. Naruto explained, surprising all his companions. This very explanation led Danzo and Itachi to exchange looks before staring at Naruto. Naruto, you said you destroyed all three masked monsters, correct? Itachi asked. Yeah, I did. Why, sensei? Naruto asked. Kid, Kakuzu has 4 of those things attached to them. Kisame spoke. Really? Well, he did tell me and Yugito that I cost him a heart and said that after they extracted Kaio and Nibi, he was going to take ours as replacements. Naruto said. Ah, that explains it. Well, Naruto, next can you please focus some chakra into your eyes? Itachi asked. Naruto did as asked and slowly began focusing chakra into his eyes until his sapphire blue eyes turned a very light shade of purple with 6 rings around his pupils and 3 tomo on the 3rd ring from his pupils. When his eyes changed, however, they all gave a gasp. Never from what happened. I've never seen anything like this. Itachi began. It's as if Naruto here has awakened a fusion of the Sharingan, Byakugan and Rinnegan. He finished taking them all, even Danzo, by surprise. Wow, that's really cool, Itachi Niasen. I wonder if my eyes have the abilities of the Byakugan and the Rinnegan. Although, I'm hoping my new bloodline doesn't have all the abilities of the Sharingan. Naruto finished surprising them with the last part. Naruto, my boy, why did you say that part about the Sharingan? Danzo asked while Itachi knew the answer. Danzo-sensei, you and Itachi Niasen both know that I prefer learning techniques the right way, through hard work, than the easy way, unlike most of Itachi's clan, who took them without learning them with hard work. Naruto replied, making both his sensei and Yugito smile. Well, for now it would be best to hide Naruto-kun's eyes for a bit, so tell him how to turn off the Dojutsu. Yugito said, causing Itachi to tell Naruto to remove the chakra from his eyes, which turned the blonde's eyes back to their sapphire blue. When they finished the discussion, Gamakichi appeared in a puff of smoke. Hey bro. The little toad summoned said. Hey Kichi, how was the trip to see the wreckage? Naruto asked his tiny friend. Well, his surprised reaction when I told him Iro-sennin didn't send me was pretty funny. Gamakichi began. However, when he read your message he said that after you met up with Danzo to head straight to Kumo. The little toad finished. I see, well I hope the wreckage doesn't mind us going on foot rather than by summon. Naruto said. Why can't we travel by summon, Toad? Yugito asked. Simple reasons for that, my dear Yugito-chan. Naruto began. 1. I would like to learn what my new bloodline can do. 2. Sushi-san might pick an unnecessary fight with the toads. And 3. They prefer being summoned for recon, as messengers, or for combat. They absolutely hate being used for travel. Naruto explained. What's this about you having a bloodline, bro? Kichi asked, surprised. It was then Naruto explained to Gamakichi about the unique bloodline he gained and how unsure they were about its abilities, aside from the Sharingan's perception and the Byakugan's sight. Wow, Naruto, that's unbelievable, but of course now you realize I'll have to tell Dad. Kichi finished in a sad tone. Tell Bunta that if he keeps it a secret then in 3 years I'll drink with him till he passes out drunk. Naruto replied with a smirk. Will do, bro, but Dad's gonna pass out from laughing before accepting that challenge. Gamakichi replied with a chuckle before going home. Well, Naruto began as he turned to his companions. Let's get Yugito-chan to Kumo and on the way figure out what my eyes can do. He finished getting nods from Itachi, Kisame, Danzo, Yugito, and the concealed members of Root. 2 days later, on the way to Kumo. After 2 days of traveling on foot to Kumogakure, Naruto had learned quite a bit about his Omnigan. For starters, he had learned he can pull off the abilities of the Rinnegan's 6 paths but doesn't want to try and create the paths yet. He can also pull of the side and techniques of the Byakugan, but he couldn't copy techniques like the Sharingan, much to his pleasure. Although as of right now the Jinchurikis, Akatsuki members, Danzo, and Root were still on the way to Kumo. Hey everyone, stop for a moment. Naruto said, stopping his companions. Naruto-kun, why are we stopping now when we're a few hours away from Kumo? Yugito asked. Well, it would be smart and polite to let the wreckage know we're almost there, right? Naruto asked, smiling at his fellow blonde before summoning Gamakichi. Hey Naruto, what's up? The little toad asked. Kichi, can you let the wreckage know we're almost to Kumo? Naruto asked his little friend. Sure Naruto, but first tell me why you've been summoning so much. Kichi asked. Well, aside from your dad, you're the first toad I summoned. You make great conversation and a great messenger. Unlike your brother, you don't ask for payment and can be serious when necessary, and you're a great friend. Ah, I see your reasons, Naruto. The toad began. I'll head to the wreckage and I'll see you later, bro. He finished and left to do as Naruto asked. After that, the group continued on until the walls of Kumo came into view and, when they arrived at the village, standing at the gates of the village, Gamakichi on his shoulder, was the wreckage of Kumogakure no Sato. Talking. Thinking. Flashback. Eavesdropping. Detsu demon, summon, and inner Sakura talking. Demon, summon, inner Sakura thinking. Welcome to Kumagakure. Kumagakure, the village hidden in the clouds, was an impressive looking village, even if Naruto and his companions had not made it past the front gate yet. Instead the group was standing in front of the rakeage, and Naruto was now staring at the lightning shadow who looked strong and powerful, despite the very large robes that a village cage has to wear, and a face that made him look like a father. However, when he looked in the man's eyes he saw a fatherly love directed towards Yugito. Hey bro. Gamakichi said, snapping Naruto from his trance. Glad you could make it on time because this cage looks a lot scarier than the old lady. The tiny toad said, much to the annoyance of the cage whose shoulder Gamakichi was sitting on. Kichi. Naruto began. I don't think it's smart to insult and annoy someone who could crush you faster than you could say oops. Naruto continued. Especially if you sitting on his shoulder. He finished his warning. But that the little summoned toad actually paled and went home with a quick bye bro. Yugito Raikage said, only to be tackled by said Kunoichi. Batu-san. She yelled and cried tears of joy in his robes. It's good to have you back safe and sound. Said before turning to Naruto. Thank you for bringing my adopted daughter back safely, Namikaze. Said with gratitude. You're welcome, Raikage-sama, but can we please go to your office to discuss things further? Naruto replied, causing A to nod in agreement. On the way there, however, Naruto noticed the women giving Yugito glares of hate that reminded him of his life in Konoha, while the men gave her glares of hate and lust that made his skin crawl. Hey Yugito, Naruto whispered. What? She asked. Do the villagers see you as Nibi and think of you as nothing but a demon, a weapon, and breeding stock? Naruto asked, getting a nod from her. However, while they were talking, a very bold and stupid villager snuck up behind Yugito and squeezed her ass in front of everyone, only to be punched to the ground by a pissed off Naruto. What the hell are you doing? Naruto asked as his pupils turned to slits. Showing that demon slut and that fool of a cage her place in life. The idiot replied. Hey Kurama-chan, think you can give me a chakra boost to my limit? Naruto asked. I'll give enough to give you a 9-tailed cloak for at least a few minutes without going berserk, and it should also bring Hichibi here like a moth to a flame. Kurama replied. Right as the villager spoke his mind, there was an explosion of blood-red chakra, and standing in the center, with the red chakra forming a fox-like cloak with 9 tails, was a severely pissed off Naruto. So you think of a female Jinchuriki as a slut, right? Well, that slut, as you put it, could kill you before you could even blink, and that's without Nibi's chakra. The Kyuubified Naruto began. Also be sure to spread the word that Yugito Nai Jinchuriki of Matatabi, the Nibi no Nekomata, is under the protection of Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze Jinchuriki of Kurama, the Kyuubi no Kitsune. He finished making most of the villagers and shinobi alike wet themselves. After Naruto's intimidation, the chakra cloak receded before he lost control, and when it disappeared someone showed up in a Raiten Shushin. Yo bro, what happened? Cause 8-0, and I could feel a 9-0 going nutso. The man poorly rapped. Hey, sorry for the mid-chapter author's note, but for the record I've never been too good at rhyming off the top of my head, so I'm sorry if B's rapping sucks worse than the anime and manga. So you're Kurabi the killer B.A.? Yugito-chan boasted as the host of Jayuki the Hechibi. Naruto unknowingly rapping, which A and Yugito thought was better than B's. I bet you claim to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee, but most of it's from the being stuck in you. So don't be full of yourself cause of the octobull in your body till you can beat someone that could give even Hashirama Senju some trouble and beat them without your biju. Naruto finished, making everyone stunned that he could rap better than Kurabi. What's everyone staring at? Naruto asked. Naru-kun, you rapped in front of B and you were better than him too. Yugito replied. Oh, I didn't even know I was rapping, but Kurama says she likes to mess with baby Hechibi as she puts it, so she's probably making me rap to mess with Kurabi. You know, since he is the leash that can unleash the beast. Naruto rapped again. Okay already. B yelled. I've just been puned for Jayuki to be punked. Now that's just plain mean since he's also laughing at me. B said, depressed. Wow, and here all I had to do to get B to finally quit rapping was bring Naruto. I said, laughing at his brother's pain. So kid, how come we could feel Kurama's chakra? B finally asked. Oh, an idiot grabbed Yugito-chan's S in public and even said she was best as breeding stock just because of something she never even asked for. Because of him, Kurama gave me enough chakra for all 9 tails at least for a few minutes, since I can only go to 7 for a long period without going berserk. Also, can we talk more in A-sama's office? Naruto replied and asked. As they continued on to A's office, none of the civilians dared to make a move against Yugito, with Naruto protecting her. Eventually they made it to the Raikage's tower and proceeded to A's office with the cage soon to be looking for a secretary that doesn't hate Yugito. So A began. You said that you wish for Yugito and B to travel with you to help protect them from the Akatsuki and help you control all of the Kyuubi's chakra, correct? A asked, to which Naruto nodded. Give me a reason why I should allow it, especially when you travel with members of that organization," he demanded. "Well, Reikage-sama, first of all Itachi Niasen helped to train me since I was little, so he won't attack us all. Plus even if he and Kisame did, we have 3 Biju and all of Danzo-sensei's root, which are also under my control, due to being sensei's heir to the organization when he dies," Naruto replied. "Tell me Namikaze, what do you plan to do next?" I asked. "I plan to start a hidden village in the border between Hai, Tsuchi, and Kaminari no Kunis, provided I have enough support," Naruto answered. "What would the purpose of such a village be?" I asked curiously, while everyone, except Danzo and Itachi, thought the same thing. "It would be a place for missing nin to have a second chance, a place where all people can have a home, and a safe home where all Jinchuriki will be treated like regular people," Naruto answered, bringing tears to the eyes of Yugito, A, B, and Kisame. Also Naruto began. "Being between Hai no Kuni, Tsuchi no Kuni, and Kaminari no Kuni, my village would be a peacekeeper between Konoha, Kumo, and Iwa," Naruto added, impressing A. "I offer my support for this idea, and I'm sure Tsunade would too, however, 2 cages support alone a village cannot make," I said. "Which is why I request you send a message to the Tsuchikage and ask him to allow summon toads in his presence," Naruto replied. "He would demand a reason to allow a Konoha summon anywhere in his village," I countered. Naruto began. "But that is when Gamakichi will appear with a message for the Tsuchikage from someone other than Jiraiya," Naruto finished with a devious smirk. "And since Jiraiya is thought to be the only living toad summoner, the old man will look at it out of curiosity," I realized. "There will also be similar scrolls sent to the other 3 villages, Konoha, Suna, and Kiri, and all 4 scrolls will have a shadow clone sealed in them for when the message has been read," Naruto added. "That way they can actually speak with you for more information," I spoke. "Yep, and that is just the beginning," Naruto said. "Just one more thing," I began. "What do you intend to name the village?" the curious Cage asked. "I'll tell you when I come back after getting information from the toads about something," Naruto replied. "For now, can you tell me where I can rest and prepare the messages for the cages?" he then asked. "You, Itachi, Kisame, and Danzo will be staying here in the tower with us while you are in this village," I replied. After that, the former Konoha nin and Kisame were escorted to private rooms within the Reikage Tower. Once there, Naruto set up the messages for the other cages and then summoned Gamakichi. "Hey bro, what's up?" the toad asked. "Ichi, could you reverse summon me to your home? I need to talk to Bunta, and the next task is for you, Tasu, and any other tiny toads that like me," Naruto replied. "Whoa, must be something huge to request it. Well Naruto, I'll help you." With that said and a puff of smoke later, both were gone to the realm of the summoned toads, and in their place was a small message toad left by Gamakichi. Quest for a summon. In a puff of smoke, Naruto knew he was no longer in the elemental nations anymore. "Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, welcome to Mount Miyaboku, the home of the summoned toads," spoke Gamakichi while Naruto looked around impressed. "Wow," Naruto began while looking around. "This place is immense," he finished. As soon as he finished, the ground beneath them quaked and a gigantic toad's foot landed right in front of the two, forcing them to look up and see Gamabunta, Kichi's dad and boss toad, staring down at them. "Gamakichi, what is Naruto doing reverse summoned here?" Bunta asked. Well, you see Pops, Naruto had something to talk to you about face to face and didn't want to summon you in the middle of Kumagakure," Kichi said while sweating. "Oh? Well Naruto, what could be so important that you would ask to come here personally?" Bunta asked, curious. "I wanted to know if it's possible to sign a second summon contract while keeping my contract with the toads," Naruto asked. "You know kid, I'm not really sure about it, but I'm sure the elders Fukasaku and Shima know, however, if they don't perhaps the great elder toad would know," Bunta replied to the tiny summoner. "Can you take us to the elders, Bunta?" Naruto asked. "Sure, just climb on and I'll hop you to their house," Gamabunta asked. So with that, Naruto picked up Gamakichi, channeled chakra into his hands and feet, climbed up Bunta's back and held on tight as the massive summon hopped to the elder's home. "Fukasaku-sama, Shima-sama, are you two home?" Gamabunta asked as Naruto and Gamakichi hopped off the boss toad. "What in Kami's name is the trouble, Bunta?" an old-looking green toad asked as he and another toad looking the same age hopped out of the house. "Fukasaku-sama, Shima-sama, meet Naruto Uzumaki, the boy I fought Shikaku with," Bunta spoke as he introduced Naruto. "It's a pleasure to meet you both," Naruto said while bowing. "Ah. So you're the child Jiraiya boy always talks about," Shima began. "You're just like your father," she finished. "So Naruto boy, what brings you here?" Fukasaku asked. "Actually, there are a couple things I want to know," Naruto began. "First, is it possible for me to sign a second summon contract while keeping the one I have with the toads?" Naruto asked the two elder toads. It depends if the Great Elder Toad will allow it, but you will have to say your reason for wanting to stay with the Toads while having another contract. Shima told them. Well, before I speak my reason, let's go see the Great Elder, Naruto said before they all got on Bunta again and headed for the temple of the Great Elder. Ah, if it isn't little Minato, spoke an old toad bigger than Gamabunta. Actually sir, I'm not Minato Namikaze. Naruto began to correct the old toad. I'm his son Naruto. He finished. Ah, it is a pleasure to meet you, child. The Great Elder began. Tell me what brings you here. He finished. I wish to know if I can sign another summon contract while also staying with the Toads, Naruto asked. A child born of two great ninja, cursed with power from his mother's ancestors, and blessed with power surpassing a god, shall be cast out of his homeland that feared and hated him for the power he gained from his mother. He shall go on a journey to become sage to two and bring peace to the world, as well as ending those who seek to trap the world in eternity of false peace. The Great Elder said as if in a trance. That's just like the prophecy he gave Jiraiya boy all those many years ago, Fukasaku exclaimed. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. The elder began. You are the one destined to bring peace to the world. He continued. I will allow you to possess a second contract in addition to ours. Please perform the summoning jutsu as we block the Toad clan from you so that you may find your second contract. The elder finished and just as asked Naruto performed the jutsu only to disappear in a puff of smoke. Unknown location. Whoa. Naruto began. So this was how Pervy Sage met the Toads. He finished. But that said, Naruto began to look around the summoning realm he arrived in. Okay, it's cool yet worrisome that this place appears to be a mountain range with the mountains starting from the clouds instead of actual earth, Naruto said. That's the Ryukami Mountains for you, spoke a voice behind Naruto causing him to turn around. When he did, however, he saw a small yet strange looking dragon with scales that shined like crystals in sunlight. Hi, my name's Naruto. He began. Could you tell me who you are and explain this place? Naruto asked the little dragon that was around shin height. Sure Naruto. The dragon spoke with excitement. My name's Ryuka, a crystal dragon, and daughter Artemis, the head crystal dragon clan and of the entire dragon summon clan. She began explaining. There are also some elemental dragon clans for all the main and sub-elements, and the elemental clans live in separate mountains. There is one mountain for each clan with the crystal dragons having a home in the largest mountain in the center of the range. She continued. Because your mother is the head of the clan as a whole, Naruto said. You bet, so what's a human doing here anyway? Ryuka asked. I wanted to see if I could sign your clan summon contract, Naruto told her. Well, it's a good thing we're on our way to my branch's mountain since mom decides based on intentions, Ryuka said, and Naruto realized she was right. But that said, they continued on in silence, especially when Ryuka perched herself on Naruto's right shoulder. Once they reached their destination, Naruto could only stare in awe at the mountain Ryuka's branch of the dragon clan lives in. It is a massive mountain, easily the tallest in the realm that in the sun looked to be coated in pure crystal. Here we are. Ryuka began. Home sweet home. Follow me and I'll take you to mom. She finished and took flight into the mountain's cave with Naruto following close behind until they reached the heart of the crystal dragon den, which at the time housed only one dragon at least the size of Gamabunta. Hey mom, wake up, I brought a human to see you, Ryuka shouted, waking her mother. The human, is he a blonde with sapphire blue eyes? She asked in a sleepy yet angelic voice. Yes, how do you know? Ryuka asked, curious. In the era of the Rakuto Sennin, before the elders of the elemental dragon clans went extinct, creating a permanent seal should the Jikbai ever be restored, they foretold a powerful child destined to save his world would venture to ours to gain allies from our clan. She explained. So, tell me boy, what is your name? Artemis asked. Naruto then bowed and said. Artemis-sama, my name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. I was told by the great elder of the summoned toads that I would bring peace and become a sage of two summons. I can tell your words are true and your intentions are just, Naruto. Artemis began, and in a puff of smoke an open and blank summon scroll appeared. So I, Artemis of the Crystal Dragons, give you permission to sign our contract. She finished and Naruto signed the scroll. Gamakichi's travels. After watching his father hop away with Naruto, Gamakichi decided to do the other favor Naruto had asked him. I know Naruto told me to ask Tasu and two others to help with this task, but I bet I can take these scrolls to 4 of the 5 cage single-handed, Gamakichi said to himself, and with this in mind, he proceeded to reverse summon himself first to the Hokage mansion in the Hidden Leaf village. Anahagakure Hokage's office. Tsunade Senju, the god-aim Hokage of the Hidden Leaf, was having a very rough time on the job, and Shizune hid her sake, making the blonde Kage more stressed than when Naruto almost died helping her against Orochimaru and Kabuto. However, just when she thought she wouldn't get a break, her old teammate pops in through the window. Hey Haim, how are you? Jiraiya asked. Severely stressed and extremely frustrated from going through forced sake withdrawal. Tsunade answered with annoyed expression. How bad could the office work have increased? The Toad Sage asked. Well, it turns out that since Naruto was banished, all of our alliances and trade agreements between the Sand Village and Wind Country, Waterfall, Spring, Wave, Tea, and every other country and village he and his team helped have been terminated due to his treatment here. Tsunade began. Since we lost the alliances and trade agreements, the village economy is suffering mostly for the shinobi and the poor to middle class civilians. For some reason, however, the civilian council and their families haven't felt any of the backlash from this crisis. She explained. Sounds like the civilian council is doing some dirty business in the shadows, but we don't have the manpower or the resources to investigate. Jiraiya spoke, already hearing about the leaf from his spy network. It's actually worse ever since Danzo left with his entire root division, and we can't mark them as missing nin, because officially that group is disbanded and Danzo is retired from shinobi life. Tsunade said while trying to stave off an oncoming headache. Things have really gone downhill since you were banished, Naruto, and man, do we ever need you now. Jiraiya thought until he saw a puff of smoke on Tsunade's desk before it cleared, revealing Gamakichi. Gamakichi? The two senin asked. Yo. Spoke the little summon toad. What are you doing here? Jiraiya asked, surprised. Mission for Naruto. Kichi replied, surprising the two again. Naruto sent you, Tsunade yelled, causing her assistant and her apprentice to come running into the office. Tsunade-sama, is everything alright? Shizune asked. We heard you yell that Naruto sent someone. Sakura Haruno added. As soon as they regained their composure, Jiraiya and Tsunade both pointed to Gamakichi. As Sakura and Shizune lowered their gazes to where the senin were pointing, they saw Gamakichi. Hey. He said to them, but he didn't expect one reaction. It's a talking frog. Sakura screamed, making the two senin and Shizune sweat drop and making Gamakichi mad. Hey, who the hell are you calling a frog? Kichi yelled in outrage. Just so you know, I'm a toad. He corrected her. I'll never understand why Naruto liked someone as loud and disrespectful as you. The little toad added, making Sakura's eyes widen. Wait, how do you know Naruto and me? Sakura asked. Simple, I know Naruto because he can summon the Toad Clan and he's my best friend. Gamakichi began. I know of you and Sasuke Uchiha because Naruto accidentally summoned me in his fight with that Gar guy. He explained to her. But how can Naruto summon? She asked, still confused. You should ask my perverted idiot of a teammate standing next to me, Sakura. Tsunade answered. Master Jiraiya? Sakura asked, still confused. Sakura, what is one thing that made the senin well known? He asked her. The senin were well known for their fight with Hanzo and their summons. Tsunade sensei can summon slugs, Orochimaru can summon snakes, Sakura said before trailing off. And I summon toads, but my contract is the best. Jiraiya said. Jiraiya, you and I will discuss that later, and Sakura, didn't you see Gamakichi when Naruto summoned him at the hospital? Tsunade asked her apprentice. No, I was trying to come up with ways to be a better teammate and friend to Naruto. Sakura answered. Can we please get back to me coming with a message from Naruto? Gamakichi asked, surprising Sakura and Shizune. Wait, if it's from Naruto, shouldn't the Rookie 11 hear it too? Sakura asked, wanting her friends to know. Hey, I don't mind since I'm the messenger. Kichi replied. Alright, Shizune, summon the rookies and their senseis. Tsunade ordered. Yes, Tsunade-sama. Shizune replied. Within a few minutes, the rookies, their senseis, and Anko were all in the Hokage's office. Tsunade-sama, we came as fast as we could when we heard you have a message from Naruto. Kakashi spoke, surprising people he was on time. It was then Gamakichi summoned a scroll with Tsunade's title on it, but when she opened it, all they saw was a single seal. Kind of looks like a storage seal. Shikamaru commented. Well, Haim, it's for you, so maybe it will release for your chakra. Jiraiya said. Tsunade nodded and focused chakra into the seal. Within a puff of smoke, everyone saw Naruto. Let me guess, you're a Kage Bushin, aren't you? Kichi asked. You got it, Kichi, I'm just here to give Bachan my message, poof, and give the boss the info. The clone replied. And there are 3 more sealed clones for the Kazekage, Mizukage, and Tsuchikage, correct? The summoned toad asked, surprising everyone. Naruto, why are there clones with messages for 4 of the 5 Kage? Sasuke asked the clone of his friend. Because Sasuke, the Raikage, already supports the boss's plan to make a hidden village in between the borders of Hai, Tsuchi, and Kaminari no Kunis. The clone replied. That's a brilliant idea. Jiraiya yelled, confusing everyone but Naruto's clone. The village between the borders of all those countries will basically be a peacekeeper and help prevent Waras, Iwa, and Kumo. Jiraiya explained, and everyone was impressed with the plan. My village will also allow missing nin a second chance and will also be a safe haven for Jinchuriki. The clone added. Jinchuriki? The rookies asked. People like me and Gaara of the Sand who have Biju sealed in us. The clone answered. How many are there? Kiba asked. Well Kiba, there are 9 Biju, but I only know 3 hosts besides me. Naruto replied. Who are the other hosts you know, Naruto? Tsunade asked. Well, there's Gaara the one-tailed Jinchuriki. The clone began explaining before Sakura cut him off. What? You mean Sasuke, Lee, and I were almost killed by the host of the weakest-tailed beast, Sakura screamed. Yes. Naruto answered. I was welcomed to Kumagakure with open arms by the Raikage when I saved his adopted daughter Yugito Nai, host of the Two Tails, from Hiden and Kakuzu of the Akatsuki. He continued before this time being interrupted by Jiraiya. You fought 2 of the Akatsuki? Jiraiya asked, shaking like a leaf from shock. Actually, I killed Hiden, a devout Jashinist, and Kakuzu, a man who fought the first Hokage and lived using body parts of those he killed. The clone answered, shocking everyone. Oh, and the last one I know is Killer Bee, the 8 Tails host. Naruto finished. What can you tell us about him? Shikamaru asked. He is the Raikage's younger brother. The clone answered before adding. Oh, and Sasuke, Itachi says hi. Can we now get back to the boss's proposal of that hidden village? The clone asked. Yes, Naruto, and just like the Raikage, I too support the idea. Tsunade began. However, you will still need to have the support of the Fire, Earth, and Lightning daimyos. She finished. Actually, Botch, and the plan is the support of the 5 Kage, Koyuki, the lands of Tea, Wave, Waterfall, and at least 4 of the 5 elemental daimyo, so even if the Fire daimyo rejects the idea, I'll still have a lot of support. Naruto explained. Knowing Naruto, I'll be going to Spring, Waterfall, Tea, and Wave. Kichi whined. Wrong, the boss planned on that himself. The clone told the toad. Naruto. Jiraiya called. Yeah? Since your banishment, the alliances and trade agreements we had because of you have ceased, and the families of the civilian council are the only ones who aren't suffering from it. Jiraiya told the clone. I'll talk to Danzo-sensei about having some root operatives look into it. The clone replied before dispelling himself. You have to admit he's thought this through pretty well. Jiraiya said, and everyone nodded in agreement. Well, I know one thing. Anko began gaining everyone's attention. When Foxy-kun makes his village, I'm definitely joining. She finished. Why, Anko, my dad speaks highly of you as a kunoichi and an interrogator. Ino asked. Simple kid. Anko replied. Just like Naruto, Sakura, and Shizune, I was the apprentice of a Sennin. She began explaining. I studied under Orochimaru when he was still a leaf shinobi, and before he turned traitor, he gave me this. She trailed off before moving her trench coat a bit to reveal her curse mark. The curse seal of heaven. Sasuke said, surprised. This was the first of that bastard seals and has helped the village hate me almost as much as Naruto. Anko explained. Anko, is there another reason for you to want to go? Asuma Sarutobi asked with a knowing smirk. No, I just want a fresh start, that's all. Anko said with a blush. Anko, just admit it that you love Naruto. Kurenai teased. Well, this is turning awkward, so I'll be heading to the sand now. Gamakichi said before leaving in a puff of smoke. Sonagakure no Sato Council Chamber. We need a good plan and an alliance. Spoke a member of the Sand Council. We need a new cage. One member yelled. We should restore our alliance with Konoha. Another council member shouted. Baki, sensei to the Sand siblings, began to tune out the council members because they have been having this same argument ever since they revoked their alliance with Konoha after the banishment of Naruto Uzumaki. At the moment he prayed for a miracle to aid the council, his wish was granted. In a puff of smoke, Gamakichi appeared before the Suna council. Yo. Kichi greeted. A summoned toad? Baki asked. What's a leaf summon doing here? I have a message for the Kazukiage from Naruto Uzumaki. The toad announced, causing the council to whisper about the banished leaf nin. I'm sorry, but at the moment our village has no cage. Baki explained. Oh, then can I see Gaara and his team? Kichi asked. Yes. Baki answered before having a sand Anbu appear. Bring Gaara and his siblings here and tell them it's a message from Naruto Uzumaki. Baki ordered. Within a moment the Anbu returned with the sand trio. Hello Gaara. Gamakichi said, gaining the three's attention. You are one of the 2 toads with Naruto when he and I fought. Gaara said, acknowledging Gamakichi. Yep, and you're a lot more mellow since that fight. Kichi replied as he gave Gaara the scroll for the Kazukiage, who upon opening, sent chakra into the seal, summoning a Naruto clone. Hey Gaara. The clone greeted. Just to save a ton of time, Kichi began. This is just a shadow clone. He said, pointing to Naruto. He's here with a proposal from the real Naruto. Gamakichi finished, gaining everyone's attention and interest. Ichi's right, and the proposal is the founding of a hidden village in the middle of the borders of the lands of fire, earth, and lightning. The clone began. This village would be a peacekeeper between Konoha, Iwa, and Kumo, a second chance for missing nin, and a safe haven for Jinchuriki. The clone began explaining. Since Suna has no cage at the moment, I need the council support, which will hopefully grant me the next cages and the support of the Wind Daimyo, but so far we have the support of the Reikage and Hokage. Naruto continued. After the Sans answer, Kichi will take the same message to the Mizu and Tsuchi cages, and later the original Naruto will personally go to the lands he helped as a leaf nin like wave, spring, waterfall, and tea. The clone said as he finished explaining. Wait, Naruto, with all that support your village could possibly become the 6th great ninja village. Especially if you get the support of the 5 elemental daimyos. Temari said. Well, I get a ton of shinobi and kinwaichi out of missing nin that want to stop running, and the civilians from villages on those borders that want to be safe from war and conflicts between the Leaf, Stone, and Cloud. Naruto told Temari. Well, Uzumaki, that is a well thought out plan and seems to cover all the necessary bases. Baki said, impressed with Naruto's plan. Thank you for the flattery, but I need the support of Suna's council and their future Kazekage. Naruto replied. It was then Baki stood up and said. The Suna Council and our future Kazekage support the proposal of Naruto Uzumaki. Baki began before smirking. Isn't that right, Gaara? He added, surprising everyone. Why, Gaara? One council member began. If anyone, it should go to Temari as the eldest and most intellectual. He finished. Because ever since Naruto defeated him, Gaara has wanted to show he's changed and become something precious to others by becoming Kazekage. Kankuro said. It would also be a sign of trust since we're making a future alliance with the Nine Tails Jinchuriki. Baki added, causing the council to agree. Then it's settled, once Gaara becomes a Jounin, he shall be the 5th Kazekage. Baki announced. Thank you, Naruto Uzumaki, once again you have helped me. Gaara said with a smile. If anyone deserves the title of Kazekage, Gaara, you do. Naruto began. But before I go, I need to warn you of a looming threat. An organization called the Akatsuki is after the Biju. Naruto warned. Which means they'll come after Gaara. Kankuro said with clenched fists. Yes, the Akatsuki is a group of S-class missing nin that used to have 10 members. Orochimaru, who was a member who left after trying and failing to steal the body and eyes of Itachi Uchiha, who once trained me along with Danzo Shimura, convinced his partner Kisame Hoshigaki to leave the Akatsuki with him and join me, while Kakuzu of Takigakure and Haiden of Yukagakure were killed by me when I rescued Yugito Nai of Kumo and the Two Tails host. Naruto began. Now the remaining members are Zetsu, their spy, Deidara of Iwa, Sasori of the Red Sand, Tobi, who Itachi-sensei is suspicious of, Konan, the Angel of Aim, and Pain, their self-proclaimed god of peace. Naruto finished. If Sasori is in Akatsuki, then he'll be sent after Gaara. Kankuro exclaimed. Yes, but due to the losses they recently suffered, they'll be set back. Temari said. Naruto Uzumaki, on behalf of Sunagakure, I thank you. Baki told him with a bow. You're welcome, and by the way, it's Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. The clone dispelled, leaving everyone shocked. Well, I'll take that as my cue to head to the hidden mist for the next message. Gamakichi said before leaving in a puff of smoke. It seems the son of the Leaf's Yondaime will become the Shodaime of his own village. Gaara said with a smirk before leaving the council chamber with his siblings. Kurigakure no Sato Mizukage's office. Within the office of the Hidden Mist's Mizukage sat Mei Terumi, the Godame Mizukage of Kurigakure, and the woman who led the bloodline rebels against the tyrannical Yondaime Mizukage Yagura, Jinchuriki of the Sanbi. At the moment she pondered on what to do with Yagura, who was currently locked up in a cell made for Jinchuriki, and how to get Kiri back on its feet. She was quickly taken from her thoughts by a puff of smoke on her desk which disappeared, revealing Gamakichi. Hi. Kichi greeted the female cage as he raised a webbed hand. A summon toad? She asked. What does Konoha want with my village? Mei asked with an annoyed tone. DCH shows what you know, lady. Gamakichi began. I'm not on an errand for the Leafer Jiraiya. The toad said. Then why are you here? She asked, only to be given the same scroll as Tsunade and Gaara, and when she released the seal, she was greeted by the third Naruto clone. Are you the current Mizukage? He asked. Yes, I am Mei Terumi, the Godame Mizukage. Now who are you? She answered, then asked. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, banished Leaf Nin, and Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Kitsune, but technically I'm a shadow clone due to the original being on an errand. The clone replied. Impressive, but at the moment our village isn't too fond of Jinchuriki. Mei said. How come? Naruto asked, offended. Our Yondaime Yagura, who caused a bloodline purge in the Civil War, is the three-tailed host. She answered. That's strange. Naruto said. How so? Mei asked. First tell me what Yagura like was before the purge and war. Naruto said. Well, Yagura was once a kind and peaceful man who cared for his people. Mei answered, wondering where Naruto was going with this. The Sanbi is one of the peaceful Biju, and if Yagura was peaceful as well, then that means someone was manipulating him. Naruto said. Think you could try and find out the truth? Mei asked. The real Naruto might if you just listened to his proposal. The Naruto clone answered. What kind of proposal? Mei asked. I plan to start a hidden village between the borders of Hai no Kuni, Tsuchi no Kuni, and Kaminari no Kuni. Naruto began earning Mei's attention. This village would act as a peacekeeper between Konoha, Iwa, and Kumo, and be a safe place for Jinchuriki to live as the humans we are, as well as a place for missing nin to get a second chance. He continued. Also, I want to earn enough support for my village for it to become the 6th great ninja village. Naruto finished, surprising Mei. Doing that would require support from the daimyos, she said. The real Naruto planned to handle that as well as getting support from the lands of Wave, Spring, Waterfall, and Tea. The clone replied. And since I listened to your proposal, you'll get the truth out of Yagura? Mei asked. Yes, and I will also warn you of the Akatsuki, a group of S-class missing nin that are after the Jinchuriki for the Biju. That includes the Sanbi and Rikubi belonging to Mist. Naruto warned. Will your original supply information on them? Mei asked. Yes. The clone answered. Then I support your idea, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, and will send a message to Water Daimyo about it. Mei announced and kissed the clone before he dispelled. I wish I could see the blush on Naruto's face from that. Kichi said before disappearing to the Raikage to ask a question. Kumagakure no Sato Raikage's office. A was sitting at Hi9's desk wanting to get rid of a headache. B was chillin' against the wall of his brother's office, but Yugito was freaking out from Naruto's mysterious disappearance, but they were snapped from their thoughts from Gamakichi appearing on his desk. Yo. He said. This isn't a good time, what does Jiraiya want? Asked annoyed. Actually, I'm running an errand for Naruto, Kichi said before being picked up by Yugito. Talk, you little toad, where is Naruto? She said as she began to squeeze him. He's working on getting a second summon contract while keeping the toads, and I want to talk with the Raikage. Kichi answered. After getting her answer, Yugito put Gamakichi on A's desk, and the little guy coughed a bit before turning to the cage. Okay, I have been going to the other cage with messages about Naruto's village idea, and I was wanting to know if you sent the Tsuchikage a message about allowing a leaf summon in his village. Gamakichi asked. The old man sent a reply saying only if it was truly important. A replied. Great, then I'll see you when Naruto summons me again. Kichi said before he went poof. The Wagakure no Sato Inoki's office. In the Tsuchikage's office sat a very tiny, bald old man. This man is Inoki the Fence-Sitter, the 3rd Tsuchikage, wielder of the particle release, one of the oldest living shinobi today, and one of the few alive today to have faced Madara Uchiha. The old cage had just gotten his headache of a granddaughter to finally leave his office when Gamakichi appeared on the old man's desk. Greetings, Lord Tsuchikage. Gamakichi said respectfully. I told that ape of a cage that a Konoha summon can only enter my village if the reason is important. Inoki said. Ichi then took out the final message scroll for the Tsuchikage, and the old man placed chakra into the seal, summoning the last Naruto clone. Who are you, and why do you resemble the Yondaime Hokage? Inoki asked, surprised and suspicious. I am a cage bushin of Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. The clone began. And I come with a proposition for you, Lord Tsuchikage. He finished. Oh, and what would this proposition be? The fence-sitter asked, curious. My proposal is the founding of a hidden village between the borders of Hai no Kuni, Tsuchi no Kuni, and Kaminari no Kuni. Naruto began. This village would be a peacekeeper between Konoha, Iwa, and Kumo, preventing war between the villages, while granting missing nin a second chance, and being a safe place for Jinchuriki to live. Naruto finished. Impressive, that would bring a large shinobi force, and guarantee a safe place for civilians who do not wish to be caught in the crossfire of shinobi conflicts. Inoki said while stroking his beard. How much support do you have already? He asked. So far I have the support of 4 of the 5 great villages. Naruto replied. What would you grant me in exchange for my support? The old cage asked. If you give your support for my village, I will give a ninja of your choosing a seat on my ninja council and a high-ranking position in my village. Naruto answered. Can you guarantee my ninja's safety? Inoki asked. Have you heard of an organization called Akatsuki? Naruto asked. They used to be a mercenary group I used once. Inoki replied. They are a group of S-class missing nin after the tailed beasts, all of which are sealed in Jinchuriki. Naruto began. I personally killed the immortals of the organization and saved the 2 tails host without the power of the 9 tails sealed within me. I also have Itachi Uchiha and Kisame Hoshigaki, who used to be in the organization, on my side. Naruto explained. Very impressive, then young Namikaze, you have Iwa's support. Inoki said. Thank you, Lord Tsuchikage, and as a sign of gratitude the real Naruto will provide information for you on the remaining Akatsuki members when he goes to the Earth Daimyo for support for the village. The clone said with a bow. Very well, and when he comes I will introduce him to the ninja I've already chosen. Inoki replied as the clone dispelled. Well, that's 4 messages for 4 cages. Gamakichi began. I could use a snack and a nap. And with that the little summon toad was gone, but he's not home just yet. Preparations for travel. Naruto stood there in front of Artemis and Ryuka, who stared at him in concern when his eyes appeared to have glazed over when he finished signing the summon contract for the dragons. Within a moment he blinked a couple before looking at the mother-daughter dragon summons. Sorry about zoning out like that. Naruto apologized. I was feeling the after effects of the Kage Bushin no Jutsu. He told them. Naruto, when did you use this jutsu of yours, and what does it do? Artemis curiously asked. Yeah, cause I never saw you do a jutsu when you first appeared in front of me. Ryuka added confused. First off, the jutsu uses my chakra to create solid clones of me, and when they dispel after learning or experiencing something, their memories go back to me. Naruto said as he explained the purpose of the jutsu. Now can you explain when you used it? Artemis asked. I used the jutsu and sealed my clones in scrolls before giving them to a summon toad named Gamakichi. Naruto began. I originally asked him to get some backup and deliver the sealed clones to 4 of the 5 cage, so I could get permission to start my own hidden village. He explained. My eyes glazed over as I got the memories of each of my shadow clones when they gained the cage's approval. He finished. I see, and now Naruto, I must ask the purpose of this hidden village. After all, I know these villages can start out peaceful, but time can corrupt their people. Artemis spoke with narrowed eyes. Artemis, my village will be between 3 of the 5 great villages, taking in missing nin, Jinchuriki, and civilians from surrounding villages who wish to avoid being caught in the crossfires of the ninja wars. Naruto explained. I see. Artemis began. It is meant to be a true peacekeeping village and a fresh start to all who want to start anew in the village walls. She continued. I like the idea, Naruto. The dragon boss finished. Thank you, Artemis. May I summon the boss of the Toad clan to discuss an important matter in regards to the village? Naruto asked. Why, of course you can, Naruto. Artemis answered, enjoying Naruto's respect in regards to his other summon. Summoning jutsu. Naruto shouted, and in a puff of smoke appeared Gamabuta, Gamakichi, and Gamatatsu. Naruto. Bunta began. Where did you summon us this time? Bunta asked with his eyes narrowed in annoyance. So this is the chief Toad you spoke so highly of, Naruto? Artemis asked, gaining Bunta's attention. The crystal dragon, Bunta yelled out, shocked. Naruto, please tell me that you don't have the dragon clan as your natural summon. The chief Toad begged. But Bunta, they are my natural summon. Naruto replied. That means only the great elder sage was the only one to ever truly have an idea of your potential. Bunta spoke while sweating a little from nervousness. After the pleasantries were finally exchanged, Naruto explained to the Toad trio about the plan for his village. Why did you bring us here for that then, Naruto? Gamabunta asked, completely annoyed. Because I wanted to name the village Ryugakur as a show of trust for the Dragon Clan and its most elite shinobi group, the Gama Guardians, to strengthen my bond with the Toads since they are my very first summon. Naruto answered. A very sweet and touching idea, Naruto, I approve of it. Artemis announced, feeling respect for Naruto's idea. Ha! Bunta broke in. This is why I love having you as a summoner for my clan, Naruto. Gamabunta began speaking. You're loyal to your friends and loved ones, and you do your best to honor your comrades and those who truly changed your life for the better. The chief Toad continued. You are the perfect partner for the Toad clan, and that is reason enough for me to approve of your idea to name your most elite group after my clan. Bunta finished with a proud smile. Thanks, you too. Naruto began. This means a lot to me. He told them before summoning a shadow clone to help him hug the 2 boss summons. Is there anything else I should know before my sons and I head home? Bunta asked. Well, I was going to ask Artemis if I could request one of her fastest clan members to help me travel across the elemental nations so I could gain support from the leaders of Wave, Spring, Waterfall, Tea countries, and the 5 elemental daimyo. Naruto revealed. Why not just use clones like you did with the 4 cage? Kichi asked. Because Kichi, for daimyo it would be most respectful if it was the real me speaking to them. Naruto answered. I believe that is a very reasonable request and a well-thought plan, Naruto. Artemis spoke before releasing a powerful roar at the clouds, and within a moment a teal dragon flew down so fast only Artemis was able to keep up with the new dragon's movements. You called? The new dragon arrival asked. Yes, I was hoping you could aid our very first summoner Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze in his errand to gain support from other humans for the construction of a village. Artemis told the new dragon. I figured since I eavesdropped from my cloud before dropping in. The teal dragon began before turning to Naruto. Hello, Naruto, I am Sora, head of the Wind Dragons, and the fastest around. Sora said as she introduced herself. And she's also my sister. Artemis added. Wait, your sister? Naruto asked, confused. Of course all the heads of each dragon clan are related, but some are also my siblings, while the rest are cousins. Artemis answered. Now that the pleasantries are done, hop on my back Naruto, and I'll fly you anywhere fast and in style. Sora said. Naruto then got on Sora's back, and the two disappeared in a plume of smoke, as did Gamabunta and his sons. Thanks for watching this video. If you really enjoy this video, like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification. Don't forget to support and follow Gold Testament for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story, link in the description. See you in the next video. Goodbye.